All right. 7.41 is out. I'm not even kidding. I stood up to go get food, and when I sat back down, it had been out for like 2 minutes. So we're recording now. This is completely fresh. I have read nothing except the first line, and I'm already excited because facets have been removed from the game. This is actually good, and I kind of saw this coming. When they added Largo and they removed a ton of facets with all of the reworks, I took a look at a lot of the other facets in the game, and it just wasn't doing anything. And you don't have to believe me, but earlier today, I literally was sitting there thinking to myself, like, they might remove facets entirely. There's a couple of heroes that I think it'll be interesting to see which facet they kept, but we'll see that as we go on. I'm not going to dwell too much on this because it really is a per hero thing, but facets being removed from the game is a huge deal. Innate abilities no longer scale with other abilities levels, okay? There were a lot of innates that went up with ultimates instead of with the hero level. They removed that from the game. All innate abilities that used to scale with other abilities now either provide unchangeable bonuses or improve on per level basis. Okay, so they're flat or they scale with the hero's level itself, but never with a different ability. Abilities that improve with hero level have base value and increment value. Some also have amounts of levels required for increment. Okay, that's fine. It's like, that's easy to understand. Added UI icon that shows you which parameters increase with hero level and what is the current value. That's nice. Some non-innate abilities might have this per level UI as well. Okay. This is really just about the facets being removed. Abilities that had per level upscaling changed to be per level. Mostly affects heroes reworked in update 7.40 in Largo. Okay. Now for the system changes. Flagbearer creep experience bounty increased. Okay, nice. I think it's good to buff those a little bit. First siege creep timing decreased. Oh, +1 siege creep. So this is when you get double siege creep. Second +1 siege creep timing now occurs at 60 minutes. Okay. So they're speeding it up a little bit, and now we have... Was this a thing before? Triple siege creep? I don't know if this was a thing before. Either way, they're basically just saying end the fucking game. Adjusted the meeting point of the lane creeps towards the off lane. This is probably for the best. One of the annoying things with where the creeps met in the safe lane is that the off laner could pull aggro, and then a good chunk of his melee creeps would immediately go under your tier 1 tower, and now it's going to push the wave out and stabilize it way closer to his tower, which is annoying. Now, offlane creeps are slightly slowed upon leaving the base for a couple of seconds. That's how they did it. Safe lane creeps are slightly accelerated upon leaving the base. Both of these changes are effective until the 730 mark. Okay, so they'll continue to meet at that slightly more towards the offlane mark until... I assume this is when they spawn at 730, so at the 8-minute mark, they'll start meeting where they used to, where the safe lane range creep is like under the tower still. All sections of currents now give a max movement speed bonus of 150. I don't know what they were before. Previously, it was only provided by sections on the base and near it, while other sections provided max bonus of 100. Okay, cool. So current's buffed. There's these little icons here that you can't see, but they're there, trust me. Tormentor changes. Tormentor spawn preference has switched. Okay. Unyielding. Okay, so just number changes on the barrier. A lot more on the barrier. And then upgrade per minute increase. So they made it way harder. But the regen got decreased as well. Huh. So it's harder to take now. It's harder to get to the point where you can take it, but it's a little easier. Wait, what is it? I don't understand exactly how this changes it. It makes it harder, but the regen wasn't a huge deal anyway. Reflect radius can be seen by holding the alt key. Cool. I recently learned this. Apparently, if you were to like smack Tormentor near Brewmaster during his ultimate, he would just instantly die or close to it, which is very funny. The Shining base damage decreased from 60 to 20, now increases by 2 per minute, so it scales. It'll even out at 40 minutes. Now has 25% status resistance. Okay. No longer deals damage to neutral units. I didn't even know this. Was there a strat in the Dire side where you could grab the Ancient Camps and like hit the Tormentor to farm them? Is that a thing? I wasn't doing that. Players that got Aghanim Shard will no longer get the bonus gold. Reward if all players have it decreased slightly. Roshan's pit preference is switched. Okay, that's fine. So, I guess it now starts in the bottom half of the map, and Roshan will be in the top half of the map at the 20-minute mark. Wisdom Shrines and Lotus Pools now reverse their countdowns if heroes from opposing team enter the area. Okay, so it works like King of the Hill instead of pausing it. This is interesting. I kind of liked the pausing aspect of it. It made it like sort of high stakes. But heroes that could very briefly remove enemy heroes from the radius, like OD, for example, kind of were able to take advantage of that in an unfair way. Not that, but that's not really that different. Maybe it takes long enough that you'd be able to get out of gay baby jail in order to contest it still. I'm not sure. And then a number change. It's fine. That doesn't result in any play pattern changes. Terrain changes. Tormentor spawns have been positioned closer towards Lotus pools. Tormentor spawn areas have been reduced to low ground. Relative to lane level, okay. Lotus pools have been moved slightly closer. A lot of these things don't matter. These are just like slight moves. Some Watcher repositioning. Results. Tormentor is on the low ground, which has 3 stairs. Twin high ground. Okay, this is whatever. The tier 1 safe lane towers have been removed slightly. Or moved, not not the tier 1 safe lane towers have been removed. Good lord. They have been moved slightly away from their pole camps and where the creeps meet. So they're a little further back, I assume. So it might be more difficult to contest poles. Radiant Safe Lane Small Camp has been slightly moved north away from the lane. Okay. This might hurt. The Radiant Safe Camp had like a 10-second window to pull, so maybe they're trying to remove that. Radiant Safe Lane Hard Camp's spawn box has been moved towards the off lane to remove a bad ward location. It's funny to me that they call it a bad ward location. I don't think Valve has ever declared a ward location bad before. But now they have. Radiant offlane tier 2 tower adjusted slightly to the left. Okay, this is whatever. This is just slightly moving stuff. Okay, mechanics changes. Health restoration now applies to all forms of life gain. Incoming heal amplification now stacks diminishingly with health restoration instead of additively. This is interesting. So, if you didn't know, health restoration mostly, I believe it only applied to, yeah, it didn't apply to heals. So, what was happening on your hero was fine, but if like a Dazzle healed you with Shadow Wave, or a Largo was like banging on his drum and then he bangs your mum, you wouldn't actually benefit from your health restoration amp. Now it seems like that helps. So that's good. That's good. Big ups for, I guess, Morphling and Largo. Spells that previously had a separate value for incoming heal reduction now only modify health restoration. Okay. Yeah, these are just like cleanup changes to facilitate that change. Lifesteal and damage manipulations. Physical and magical lifesteal now take into account overall damage reduction amplification when computing how much to lifesteal. Huh. Historically, lifesteal was calculated before some damage reductions or amplifications were applied. As a result, you could gain health from attacks that dealt no damage. Yes, you could lifesteal off of people affected by Combo Breaker. That won't happen anymore. The only amplification not taken into account is increased damage against solutions. Okay, that's probably fair. Miscellaneous. All sources of reflection damage now have an alt note detailing mechanics of reflected damage. The damage cannot be reflected back. Lifesteal and spell lifesteal don't apply to reflected damage. Reflected damage doesn't affect debuff immune units. Units with free movement now can miss their attacks when attacking uphill targets. Huh. Okay, so a couple heroes that could like fly, basically, can now miss uphill, which is a bit of a flavor fail, to be completely honest. I feel like if you're flying, hills are nothing to you. Let's see if some of the requested changes I made, because I talked about making Dota better, and I see that kobolds have been buffed, so this is great. Just a damage increase on the kobold camp, very nice. Doesn't really matter for units that care about neutrals, but this will make pulling a little bit easier, and you're more likely to get like at least one melee creep killed, whereas before it was like nothing. Small bonuses. I don't think it'll be a huge difference. It's probably still the worst small camp to pull, but hey, what can you do? Just the quantity of units gives it a little bit of a niche in and of itself. Vul Assassin damage decreased. This was previously the best one. Damage decreased on the Ghost as well, by a pretty significant margin. Chen down humongous. Harpy Stormcrafter damage rescaled to be worse at early levels. Satyr Tormentor Shockwave damage rescaled as well. Warpine Raider. Okay, so it's just damage rescaling on a lot of these to make them not flat. It now makes them scale, so they're weaker early and worse later. In come the Water Creeps. Arm of the Deep. All copies of Arm of the Deep. Okay. So before, because the water camps were basically a mixed camp where you could have croakers and boglets and marsh mages and whatnot, the problem you'd run into is you would have them basically chain stunning you. So what Valve did is they made it so that when a croaker uses their stun, all the other croakers near them have a temporary cooldown so that you can't get chain stunned. The problem is if you had an ancient croaker and a normal croaker, they could chain stun you, because it didn't put the other versions of the ability on cooldown. Valve changed that, so now they're all on cooldown. And Water Bubble Large is now affected by AoE bonuses. Nice. I love going Marsh Mage Glipnir. Item updates. Shop reshuffle. Oh, we've got some new items. Items in all shop categories have been rearranged to accommodate new items. Consumables now includes infused raindrops. Nice. Okay, new items. Oh, Wizard Hat. I love that shit. Chasm Stone. 800 gold, 40 AoE. Huh. So I assume it builds into, well, they probably changed Glipnir and Bloodstone, but in theory it would build into items like that. Shawl, 450 gold, and 10% magic resistance. Did they remove Cloak? This is a huge death flag for Cloak. Okay, cool. Splint Mail. Did they remove Chainmail as well? Or are they adding more tiers to these items? No, Chainmail's in the game, Cloak is still in the game. Okay, so they're just adding tiers. And they slightly... Oh, they nerfed it big. Holy moly. It's now 900 gold, and it went from 20% magic resistance to 18. Chainmail got its cost decreased as well. Big ups for Clockwork and Clockwork fans. Well, they removed facets, so maybe not. Wizard Hat, 250 gold plus 125 mana. So it's sort of a counterpart to Fluffy Hat that gives a different bar extension. Okay, cool. 4 new basic items. Very nice. Cornucopia. No, they took away Ring of Copium. No. Not my beautiful baby boy. How am I going to build my freaking Battle Furies now? Orb of Frost. Now also modifies incoming healing. Okay. Reset cooldowns on Refresher Shard no longer refreshes items. Huh. Probably going to be the same on Refresher Orb as well. Ring of Health, item moved back to Secret Shop. Same for Voidstone. Okay, that's how I'm going to build my freaking Battle Furies now. I'm going to micro my courier into the enemy Secret Shop and then bring it to me at 2.5 minutes. Voodoo Mask, spell lifesteal bonus increased slightly from 12 to 15. Cool. New upgrades. How many are we got? Oh, Specialist Array is back. Okay, wait. Let's not spoil ourselves. Consecrated Wraps. Requires Vitality Booster, Shawl, Crown, and a Recipe. 15% magic resistance, plus 250 health, plus 6 all attributes. It has a passive. Gain stacks every 3 seconds up to 3. Whenever the wearer takes damage from a player-controlled unit or Roche, all stacks are removed. Creates a barrier that absorbs 120 damage per removed stack. Whoa. If the wearer reached a max amount of stacks at least once in a game, regaining a stack provides a non-stacking buff that increases movement speed. Wait, what? Max amount of stacks at least once in a game? What does that mean? So you just go 9 seconds without it, and then you get this buff every time? What? That's so weird. I guess it's so that you don't, you get it and then immediately benefit from the movement speed? Okay, so it's kind of like Gravekeeper's Cloak. A little bit. It gives you the stacks, and then it gives you a buff when you get hit. Okay, cool. Doesn't proc from health loss damage. Can't gain stacks for 3 seconds after taking damage. Okay. This is interesting. It's a very direct, become tanky kind of item. It's a little bit expensive, I think, for what it offers. Maybe it's got an upgrade later on. But this is good. Consecrated Wraps. By the way that they always tease future heroes is, with these items. Remember Revenant's Brooch and Huerta? So keep that in mind. Okay, so a cool tanky item. Sadly, it doesn't provide any regen, I don't think, which makes it a little bit rough. I can't imagine a lot of offlaners wanting to pick this up unless they have a lot of innate regen already. Maybe Necrophos would like it? It might even be a Necro-themed item. It's fine. Krella's Crozier requires Ghost Scepter, Soul Booster, and a Recipe. Okay. Total cost 4,800 gold, plus 6 attributes, and this empty stats from Soul Booster. Active, Rite of Remusk. The wearer enters ghost form for 4 seconds, becoming immune to physical damage, but is unable to attack and 30% more vulnerable. So it's a Ghost Scepter. Steals 5% movement speed from enemy heroes in a 900 radius every second. Movement speed steal lasts 1.5 seconds. Bonuses stack and have duration refreshed on gaining new stacks. Okay. It is dispellable. Stealing debuff that provides new stacks can't. Okay. And a passive, Putrefaction Aura. Reduces health restoration of nearby enemy heroes by 30%. Okay, so it's like a Shiva's. When Rite of Remusk is active, the effect is increased to 75%. Wow! That's a lot. Valve does not like heroes healing, apparently. This is an interesting item. It reminds me of Necrophos being able to use the W when he had the facet that let you steal movement speed. It's kind of like a silly version of that also has anti-heal properties. It kind of just is that as an item, and the numbers are shifted around. It's like a cool offensive buff to Ghost Scepter. I could see Leshrac picking it up, maybe? I can't think of a ton of heroes, though. I was going to say Crystal Maiden if you're going super evil baby build, but I don't think that's an ideal way to play the game. Essence Distiller requires Urn of Shadows. Oh, is Spirit Vessel still in the game? Chainmail and Wizard Hat and a Recipe. Total cost 1775. 1.75 mana regen, plus 3 all stats, 6 armor, 150 mana. When cast an ally, provide... Wait. Okay, this just is... What? This just is Spirit Vessel, and you can ground target it? For some reason? Okay. It's a Spirit Vessel that you can ground target. I'm assuming Spirit Vessel is no longer in the game. It doesn't seem to impact health regeneration. Sorry about that. This is very interesting. I'm not 100% immediately sure what heroes would like to... Huh. Yeah, this is just a weird Spirit Vessel. I'm assuming that Spirit Vessel is dead. I'm assuming they killed it. Specialist's Array is back, baby. Provides Blade of Alacrity, Broadsword Recipe. Total cost 2550, 20 damage, 12 agi, ranged only. So it gives you split shot. It's just, yeah. Doesn't work with other sources of secondary projectiles. Boo! Boo! We could have had Gyro. Yeah, I immediately was thinking Gyrocopter. It doesn't work with Gyro or Medusa's split shot. Okay. So it just is... Doesn't trigger on hit effects, primary attack damage, deals 20 plus full damage. Okay. What's the cooldown? It doesn't say the cooldown. This might wind up being like an alternate farming item, though. For, I mean, it doesn't work on OD. Maybe on Shadow Fiend? Except you don't need an item that much on him? I'm not sure. Specialist Array before was a really powerful neutral item because it was just sort of a nice bonus to have. But I think needing to spend this much gold on it and it not giving any regen kind of makes it difficult to justify for many position ones. I'm struggling to think of who would enjoy it. Muerta was actually one of the heroes I thought, but it doesn't work with Gunslinger. Maybe it works if Gunslinger doesn't proc, though? I assume so. Yeah, this might be a Muerta item. 20 damage and 12 agi is like not very much for that amount of gold. So, I guess if you're an agility hero, it's 32 damage, right? Who buys this? Ranged agility heroes, I guess. Maybe Drow? You have multi-shot, though. I don't know. Specialist Array, welcome back. I hope you are usable. Hydra's Breath. Oh, it's an upgrade to it. Oh, it's like the Black Ops 2 Dragon's Breath shotgun. It requires Specialist Array, a Dragon Lance, Orb of Venom, and a Recipe. 5,900 gold. It's so expansive. 25 damage, 30 agi, 15 strength, 150 attack damage. Attack range. That's a lot. The passive is Miasma. Attacks poison the target for 3 seconds, dealing magical damage equal to 2.5% of the target's max HP. If the debuff is reapplied, it is refreshed. Can't be applied by illusions or to Roshan. That seems quite strong. That seems outrageously strong, in fact. Ranged attacks have a 30% chance to fire at up to 3 nearby enemies that aren't the original attack target. Oh, but it's within an angle. So you kind of, it's like cleave. They added ranged cleave. We had Specialist Array, which is kind of ranged cleave. Now it's Hydra's Breath. Notably enough, that target acquisition rule applies to Specialist Array all the same. The passive is Polycephaly. That is what it is called. Weird. Do not trigger on hit effects except for Miasma, which is the thing that it itself provides. For a second, I was like, wait, it works with Parasma? But no, that's a different one. We're talking about Miasma. Miasma. The primary attack gets the same bonus. Okay. So this is actually pretty interesting now that I know Specialist Array is a big fat upgrade. 2.5% of the target's max HP is a big deal. I'm still kind of struggling to think of what heroes would necessarily want to go this. You know, you could have a Sniper, maybe a right-click Lina could benefit from this a lot. I don't know. This is a pretty interesting thing to add to the game, though. Dota hasn't really gotten a new farming item, and this is kind of what this is. So cool. Arcane Boots, recipe change, now also requires a Wizard Hat. Recipe cost decreased, and provides bonus mana. Okay, cool. They need items to use the new Wizard Hat, so Arcane Boots has it. Still a Bassi, though? Yeah, they just took the cost out of the Wizard Hat and buffed it. Okay. It is 100 gold more expensive, but yeah, it gives you more base mana, which is good. Guardian Greaves, recipe increased by 50. It's still cheap at 1175. Total cost increased by 150 due to the Arcane Boots cost increased. Provides 150 mana, mana regen bonus decreased. Okay. That's kind of a surprise. Guardian Greaves was one of the really big items of the previous patch. I'm a little surprised they haven't changed it much, but that's fine. Battle Fury is back to Perseverance. Recipe cost decreased. It remains the same. Okay, cool. So now you can do the thing where you like shove the wave and you go to the enemy secret shop and you buy your rings. You probably don't buy the mana ring or Void Stone early on still. You probably buy Ring of Health and then the swords, and then you get it. For most carries, there's probably a small handful that would rather just go the Perseverance outright, but what can you do? Black King Bar, avatar duration changed from... Oh, yes! BKB buffs! Yes, Valve! Oh, I love you guys so much. The duration of BKB has been elevated, so it went from 9876, and now it's 987. So it doesn't scale all the way down to 6 seconds. The scaling stops at 7. That's huge. That's a really big buff to BKB. It wasn't the buff that I wanted. I wanted the hard dispel at the end, similar to what Jug has on the spin, but this is also quite good. Blade Mail, recipe changed. It's just a slightly more expensive version because it uses splint mail instead of chain mail, but they made the recipe lower. One of the nice things about building blade mail on heroes that are really tanky like Centaur Warrunner is they tend to have really shitty starting armor, so you got a chainmail early on in the lane, and that was useful in a lot of matchups. Now that's a lot harder to justify, so I think it's like overall a very small nerf to the item because of being unable to get that chainmail so early, but hey, it's fine. Maybe just build like phase boots first instead of going like brown boots, blade mail, Vanguard. Crimson Guard, armor bonus decreased from 8 to 6. Block rescaled from 70 for all units to 70 on melee heroes and 45 on ranged. Okay, so Crimson Guard is worse at protecting ranged heroes. Max health damage block decreased as well. Okay, a very notable nerf to Crimson Guard, and one that was deserved. This item was way too strong. Dagon, recipe change, now requires a... Okay, it's a whole recipe... This is kind of a brand new item, isn't it? Aside from being able to smack people bigly. Now requires Point Booster, Wizard Hat, and Crown instead of Diadem and Voodoo Mask. Recipe cost unchanged. So total cost increased slightly by 250. It doesn't give the spell lifesteal. It doesn't give as many stats, but it provides health and mana and additional cast range. Okay, cool. That's nice. It does not stack with Aether Lens or multiple Dagons. Aw. That's my first thought. It's like doing cast range maxing bullshit on like Ogre Magi with Aether Lens Dagon. Oh well. And also no longer instantly kills non-ancient creeps. Oh, Sag. No spell lifesteal. I mean, this... I don't even know who goes Dagon anymore now. This is weird. Dragonlance. Range attack damage bonus decreased from 140 to 130. Aw. Luna is sad. Hurricane Pike remains in the game. Ranged attack range bonus decreased. Okay, same. And then the cast range got decreased as well, including the push range, but only very slightly, from 450 to 425, for both that and the enemy push distance. Okay, it's pretty much the same. Drum of Endurance recipe change. Requires a headdress instead of Robe of the Magi. Total cost is the same. It doesn't give int anymore, but it gives a little bit of HP regeneration. Cool. Okay. Boots of Bearing no longer gives the int. Aforementioned. Swiftness Aura provides 2.5 health regen. Endurance now shares cooldown with Drums of Endurance. Eternal Shroud has been removed from the game. Straight up. Alright. I mean, we have Consecrated Wraps now. I feel like it would be a little bit excessive to have both that and Eternal... Oh, went too far. That and Eternal Shroud. So this is like actually a pretty welcome change. Ethereal Blade can no longer be disassembled. Didn't even know it could. Glipnir. Recipe changed. Chasm Stone. Okay, remember what I said earlier? I'm curious to see what else Chasm Stone builds into. It'd be nice if a couple of random-ass items just so happen to give AoE bonuses. Leshrac would love that. So would Underlord, though. Recipe cost decreased. Total cost increased, because it just has a Chasm Stone slotted into it. And then AoE bonuses from multiple Chasm Stone sources do not stack. Okay. Glimmer Cape. Shawl instead of cloak. Recipe cost increased. It's the same item. Okay, it's the same. A little bit easier for supports to pick up. Now the expensive part, well, in a weird way, I feel like this is... It's good. It's good. One of the things you like to do when picking up Glimmer Cape is instead of going for the Invis Ball that was 1,000 gold, you would instead go the Cloak, because it was a little bit cheaper, so in theory it's inoptimal to buy first, but it gave you something that was really good, whereas the Invis from the Invis Ball wasn't good. Like, that didn't really do much for you in the current patch. Valve had to nerf it because people kept using it to grief. So this is actually a good change for supports. It's going to give them access to the benefits of Glimmer Cape faster. Hand of Midas. Transmute no longer prevents camp clearing Madstone bundles from spawning if it was used on the last creep in neutral camp. I didn't know that. Getting guaranteed Madstone bundle from Transmute used to prevent the camp clearing bundle from spawning. Wait, what? This isn't even a patch note. This is just a fun fact. What? Wow, what are you doing? Well, good to know. It's funny to me that they would make this and then be like, here's why, when it was very readily apparent. Whatever. Harpoon. Hand of Midas, by the way, is good. It is good. Use it on the tiny creep in the camp to get the maximum gold bonus from the entirety of the camp instead of using it on the big one because the XP bonus doesn't exist anymore. Harpoon. Draw forth. That's what the active is called? I didn't know that. Can now target trees and will pull the caster to it. Kez reference. Cool. Monkey King down. Monkey King down. Heaven's Halberd. Recipe changed. Talisman of Evasion. Woohoo! Split Mail, Ring of Health, and a recipe of 450. Total cost 3,400. I don't know what it was before. It's way more expensive because it used to be Vanguard Crown recipe, and that was 2,600. So it's 800 more. What'd they do? Can be disassembled, doesn't give bonus health, gives 9 armor, and 25% evasion. Evasion is back on Heaven's Halberd. Cool. And they buffed the disarm active. So the cooldown decreased from 20 seconds to 16. Cast range increased from 650 to 750. Duration up to 3.5 seconds. Okay. So Heaven's Halberd is like a slightly more big ticket item, but I think giving this, like, the 275 health was better against magic damage. 9 armor and 25% evasion is huge, though. So Heaven's Halberd, I would count this as a significant buff. The build-up is a little funky, but, like, what can you do? Kaya. Mana regen amp bonus. Decrease slightly. It's fine. Kaya and Sand, same thing. Now also modifies incoming healing. Oh yeah, because the healing bonuses. Meteor Hammer, mana regen. Okay, it's just the Kaya changes. Lotus Orb can no longer be disassembled. Okay, that's fine. Mage Slayer. Recipe changed. It's a Perseverance instead of the Ring of Copium. It requires Blades of Attack instead of Gloves of Haste. Total cost increased by 300. It's now up to 3,100 due to the cloak cost increase. It doesn't give attack speed anymore, but it gives more mana regen, more health regen, and a bigger damage bonus. The Mage Slayer damage type changed from magical to physical. Interesting. I don't think that matters too much. It's relevant in certain situations where it would be obvious for it to be relevant. And the DPS got increased from 20 to 40. Okay, cool. Yeah, Mage Slayer. I don't think this really changes the kinds of heroes that go it. It's probably a little bit easier for mid laners to go for Mage Slayer now. Maybe Ember Spirit is picking it up again in some matchups. Being able to get the Ring of Health slash mana of Voidstone. Why do I keep forgetting the name of Voidstone? Early on is quite good, so that's nice. Mask of Madness. Berserk now also grants 30% slow resistance. Bonus movement speed change from plus 25 to a percentage. Range get plus 8, melee gets plus 12, and the armor reduction was decreased. Mask of Madness buff. Let's go, Luna. Let's go, Luna. And spent. Mechanism. Recipe cost increased. Total cost unchanged. Okay, a patch note for chuds. Monkey King Bar. Recipe cost increased. Total cost increased. Now gives plus 50 attack range to melee heroes only. Oh, baby, how's it feel? How's it feel, ranged heroes tonight? That's really funny. Damage bonus increase, attack bonus increase. Small numbers. This is good, I think. This is a fun little flavor change that fits, because Monkey King is, I think he was the first melee hero to get an extended attack range. And this is his bar. Nullifier. Recipe changed. Splint Mail instead of Helm of Iron Will. So it doesn't give health regen anymore. Other than that, it's the same. Oblivion Staff. Mana regen bonus increased to 1 point. It doesn't matter. Orchid. Recipe changed. It's a Claymore instead of a Cornucopia. Oh, does it not give the regen anymore? Recipe cost decreased. Total cost unchanged. No longer gives health regeneration. Mana regeneration bonus decreased, but it is still 2.5, which is enough for most heroes who buy an Orchid for partially mana-related purposes. Shout out to Chaos Knight and Naga Siren. Damage bonus increased from 10 to 20. Int bonus increased. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. It's just a weird wraparound way. Getting rid of the HP regen kind of matters, but like also doesn't, actually. Sometimes you would pick up an Orchid specifically to help supplement your mana issues, but you never did it for health regen purposes, so who cares? Bloodthorn. Recipe changed. Oblivion Staff instead of Hyperstone. Recipe cost increased to 600, so it's slightly cheaper. No HP regen, and then kind of the same bonuses, and then the mana cost of the active went up to 150 from 125, so not a big deal. Okay, Bloodthorn is really just adapting to being a natural extension of the new Orchid, which is cool. Orb of Corrosion modifies healing. Cool. Eye of Scotty. Cold Attack no longer has a separate value for incoming heal reduction. Cold Attack health restoration reduction increased. Okay, so it's better as an anti-heal option. That was really taking a lot of steps to adding more anti-heal to the game. Spirit Vessel is unchanged, I assume. So now we have like 2 weird forms of it? I don't know. Maybe we'll get to it later. Pavisi. Recipe change. Wizard hat instead of an energy booster and a fat recipe. Okay, it's the same. Actually, the mana or the gold cost decreased from 1400 to 1350, and then the mana bonus decreased in proportion, so it's fine. Solar Crest. Recipe changed. Chainmail instead of crown. Recipe cost unchanged. But Pavice got cheaper, so it's the same. It no longer gives stats, but it gives more armor and more HP, but less mana. It's the same item. Solar Crest is the same, basically. Perseverance, health regen bonus decreased to 5.5. Aw. Phase Boots, cost decreased because chainmail is cheaper. Only slightly. It's 1450, which still makes it more expensive than Power Dreads. Phylactery, health regen bonus decreased again. This is how they nerfed it before. Pipe of Insight recipe changed. Barrier no longer affects units that are affected by barrier within Pipe of Insight's cooldown. Okay, similar to Guardian Greaves. Other than that, it's the same. It doesn't give the health regen anymore because it doesn't have a headdress. It's a shawl now. Okay, that's fine. Radiance. Burn toggling no longer breaks invisibility nor stops channels. Okay, cool. That's a nice little quality of life thing. Refresher Orb no longer refreshes items. Man, that's tough. One of the fun things about being in position 1 and going a Refresher Orb is not only do you get like a second ultimate, like I'm thinking Troll Warlord here because of course. So with this, you would go Refresher, you'd go Scotty Refresher, and then you would be able to use your ulti twice, but then you'd also get like another pop of BKB, which was a big deal. But now there's not really any way to refresh a BKB. I hope they killed Tinker. I hope they shot him with a gun. Revenant's Brooch. Spell lifesteal bonus increased from 14 to 15. Still a dog shit item. Sange. Slow resistance bonus increased. Modifies incoming healing. Same for Abyssal. Okay, it's the Sange things. Shiva's Guard. Item reworked. Maybe it's no longer a anti-healing thing. Now requires Splint Mail and Chasm Stone. Okay, so it gives AoE bonus. Recipe cost decreased. It's a little bit cheaper now, but it's still expensive. 4,500 gold. Doesn't give stats. Armor bonus increased to 17 and gives an AoE bonus. Damage on the active increased, but the radius decreased. Phoenix down, humongous. Freezing. Okay, and it no longer reduces HP, healing and stuff. Okay, this is interesting. So it still has the thing where you take more, and it now pierces debuff immunity from Freezing Aura. Cool. So I assume that you would now pick it up on like Leshrac, and I can't think of anyone else. But yeah. This is a pretty interesting one. Being able to give additional AoE on Shiva's Guard of all items is pretty interesting because it itself benefits a lot from that additional AoE. But they've also sort of like, they decreased the radius, but they gave it plus 75 area of effect, so it actually doesn't matter. You'd probably pick this up on Underlord as well, who could go Shivas in the previous patch already. Now it's probably pretty good. Spirit Vessel, not removed. Soul Release no longer has a separate value for incoming heal reduction. They didn't change it? Urn and Vessel are frolic items in this patch, and they didn't change it. I should say the previous patch. Tranquil Boots, Break, now also goes on cooldown when the item is disassembled. Okay, cool. Get fucked, bots. Scripting to, like, disassemble your Tranquil Boots is no longer going to be a valid way to farm MMR. Veil of Discord. Okay. Big recipe changed. Slight price increase by 25 gold. Okay, so instead of giving armor, all stats, and health regen, it gives int, health, and spell lifesteal. Okay, carry Pudge, Veil of Discord, Pudge, Veil of Discord. We're back, boys. It's 2015 all over again. Magic weakness renamed to spell weakness. Spell weakness, Weakness. Bloodstone. Recipe changed. Veil of Discord instead of Voids. Okay, so Bloodstone builds out of Veil now. Huh. It no longer provides the mana regeneration. Spell lifesteal bonus decreased. Health bonus increased. 15 int. No dispel when activated. And it no longer multiplies spell lifesteal. So what does it do? Oh, it just increases it to 60%. Okay. Kind of bad. Because other heroes who had ways of getting spell lifesteal, maybe from a neutral, could actually have that tripled as well. But that's no longer the case. But it does provide the spell weakness aura, which is good. Yeah. Okay. Bloodstone might be back. It might be back. I keep thinking about how these items affect Leshrac for some reason. I don't know why he's the one who comes to mind. Bloodstone really was a dead item, though. Like, no one bought Bloodstone in the previous patch, so this is probably a good rework. Witchblade recipe cost increased slightly. It's the same, because chainmail. Okay, we're going to take a short break before going into the neutral items. We're back. I scarfed down a sandwich as fast as I possibly could. Neutral item changes. Tier 1 availability change. Whoa! You can get Tier 1s right at the start of the game. Madstone crafting cost increased from 5 to 6. This is an interesting change. I think this will encourage pulling. Like, very early pulling that isn't even necessarily good. Like, pulling at, like, 145. This might actually go on to encourage that, which will be interesting. Madstone cost increased from 5 to 6, but that doesn't matter. Number of artifact choices increased from 4 to 5 for tiers 2 through 5. Did they really expand the pool? I'm assuming they did, because a few of the pools were too light for this, frankly. Ash Legion shield damage barrier increased from 140 to 160. Movement speed reduction increased from 12 to 20. Okay, so more impactful on both ends. Chip vest damage return to attacking creeps decreased from 20 to 15. Aw, it was so good. Oh well, it's probably still pretty good. Dagger of Ristool, it's back, baby! Imbrew, not imbue. Increased attack damage by 25 seconds for 8 seconds, 100 health cost, cooldown 30 seconds. Okay. I don't know who wants this. It's definitely not a farming item. I don't know. I guess heroes who really like smacking you. Probably Batrider of all heroes. Hoping he got nerfed. I don't know if you guys saw the clip today of Boom Batrider just like gang spanking the shit out of 3 dudes at the same time. Forager's Kit. It's a new one. When this item is off cooldown, the wearer can see trees that can be foraged. Standing next to one of those trees for 1 second will give a temporary effect. What? So you can locate trees? This kind of knife, by the way, it's for picking mushrooms. That is what that specific type of knife is for. So if you're using this neutral, what you're actually doing is you're getting mushrooms from the Dota map. My Biddy Bat is here. All items except for Bag of Gold are placed in inventory and can stack up to 5 times per slot. So you can get an Ironwood Nut. Passively provides movement speed, and then you get a primary stat when consumed. Yo! Plus 4 all stats for Universal Heroes. Can you give these to your friends? I wonder if you can. This will be like a royal jelly situation all over again. Tomokon Ring Cap. That is the forest that Hoodwink protects. Passively provides plus 2 int. Gives you a small bit of mana restoration when consumed. Vital Toadstool provides damage. Gives max HP regeneration. Hello, Sneezy baby. If the unit is attacked by an enemy hero Roach, the bonus is lost. And Bag of Gold gives 30 gold. Okay. Cooldown 60 seconds. This is very interesting. It's a good way to take advantage of empty item slots in the early game and might encourage some rather strange item build-up patterns. Position 5s who really like going a Blink Dagger are they're going to like this. They're going to like Forager's Kit. It's mushrooms. And a nut. And a bag of gold. I wonder if the odds are even. Possessed Mask is back, baby! It only heals for 5. Aww. You know, so many times in the previous patch, I wouldn't have a chip vest, and I would say to myself, like, Possessed Mask, my beloved, like, please come back, and I'm glad that it's back. Notably, I think the pool for Tier 1 items is still 4. It isn't expanded to 5. So this one is expanding by a little bit. Yeah, we have what? 1, 2, 3... Oh! Okay, never mind. Let's not skip ahead. Stonefather Satchel. Transmog. WoW reference. Activate to switch the contents of the satchel between feathers or rocks. What? What is this? A pound of feathers increases movement speed by 12, and the distance of forced movement effects on yourself by 30%. A pound of rocks increases armor and decreases distance, so it's knockback resistance. What the fuck? No mana cost, cooldown 6 seconds, so you're meant to go between them. This is power treads for babies. What is this? What's heavier? A pound of feathers? Or a pound of steel? I can't remember what it is. Also, he doesn't sound like that. He sounds Irish. I sound like a freaking dwarf, dude. Weighted dice. Now also increases max base damage by 6. Ayo! Chaos Knight out big. Crippling Crossbow moved from tier 4 to tier 2. I think Valve probably has some way to look at the stats and saw that no one ever used this whenever they picked it up. Initial damage decreased by 75 to 25. Okay, so they just lowered all the numbers, but it's fine. This is actually probably really good. One of the things that kind of made Crippling Crossbow, or at least it made me hesitate to pick it up, is it's tier 4. So your inventory is mostly full, and you might have like 4, 5, 6 active items, and then throwing an additional one on top of there is like a little bit daunting. It's easy to forget, and even if you aren't a little bit daunted by that, you can still forget to use it. Moving into a tier 2, so you have access to it much earlier, is going to drastically increase the odds of people remembering to use it. Medallion of Courage is back, baby. Nice, and you can use it on enemies. So it has the active, same one. Increase in allies' armor, decrease in enemies' armor. The numbers are stilted, so on an ally it's increased by 7, but on enemies it's decreased by 4. Cannot be cast on self. Cool. I like Medallion of Courage. It is an item that I miss, and I'm glad that it is back, even in the form of a neutral item. Sadly, I don't think you can go this on Phantom Assassin. Maybe you can, I don't know. Searing Signet. Total damage decreased. Damage threshold increased. Okay, so it's even harder. One of the things that I caught myself doing, and if you're on the Patreon and you saw one of my replay reviews, you would know that Searing Signet on Jakiro was like kind of a silly item. Because believe it or not, until you get level 3 Dual Breath, you don't actually have a way to proc it in your entire kit, which is kind of funny. So Searing Signet is even harder to proc now. What can you do? You probably still pick it up on Shaman just so you can almost clear a wave with your Q. Seeds are back, baby! This was another one that I missed. Verdurous Dale. Circle on the ground. Health regeneration, yeah. Oh, 8%, or it's 8 HP regen plus 25% of the caster's health regeneration. That's interesting. Is it a live number? Because if so, you being in Seeds of Serenity would also increase that total. Interesting way to do it. Whisper of the Dread. Item cycled out. Probably for the best. It was never a very elegant item. Sacking some of your vision radius in exchange for like a Kaya's worth of spell amp was pretty much always worth it on any hero that did damage with spells. Cloak of Flames is also back. Hey, let's go Ember Spirit. Yeah, it's just a tiny little rad. Nice. Gunpowder Gauntlet, which I'm still convinced is a Lash reference. He's an asshole. Beat the Crowd cooldown increased from 6 seconds to 10. Boo. GD Pollen Bag. Okay, health restoration loss increased, and that's it. Partisan's Brand. Passive. Brand. Increases spell damage against player-controlled units. It's anti-zoo. Oh, and then, of course, they have the Dormant Curio bullshit everywhere. Okay, it's an anti-zoo item. Player-controlled units include heroes and any creeps summoned or converted by them. So it's spell amp that's specifically against... Okay, it's spell amp that doesn't work on creeps. That's what it's saying. What a weird way to do it. Guttum cooldown increase from 1 second to 1.5. Probably for the best. Serrated Shiv is stupidly strong. It's probably still really good. Especially on certain like attack speed heroes. Troll, Wind Ranger, that kind of thing. Spellslinger. Passive Salvo. Whenever you cast a spell, 20% of the spell's mana cost is restored over 10 seconds. Huh. There's no cooldown for this? This actually seems really good. How does it work on Storm? Tick rate 2 seconds. What? Oh, so it's restored every 2 seconds, I guess, until it's fully recovered. That's weird. I'd need to see this in action to know if it's good or not, but it's probably not bad. On Lena, it's probably amazing. Storm is also probably really good. High regen, high cost heroes. It's probably quite good on, because you can just sort of like loan yourself mana from the past in order to pay for shit. Or I guess pay it forward. Stormcrafter, it's back. Bottled Lightning zaps units. Does it have the active? I assume it doesn't. Okay, so it's just like, it just zaps people every now and again. Maybe they got rid of Rattle Cage as a result. Yeah. Conjurer's Catalyst. Spell over. Every 100 spell damage dealt to an enemy deals damage to their surrounding allies in a 300 unit radius. Oh, it's like, Lena Innate. Combust, I think it's called. Hero targets deal 40 damage to their allies, others deal 15. No change for illusions? Interesting. Dandelion Amulet is back. Pretty much the same as it was before. It is a Giga-infused raindrop on a cooldown. Enchanter's Bauble. Passive Enchant. What? You can't do that, Valve. There's already a spell named Enchant. What are you doing? Increases bonuses of the item's neutral enchantments by 15%. Every time you craft this item again, the bonus is increased by 40%. What? You can wait, so it's a super Dorito? You can select any enchantments during recraft and bonus will still keep increasing as long as you keep Enchanter's Bauble. So it doesn't do anything, but it buffs the enchantment like crazy. And then when you get to tier 5, it buffs it like insanity. And the enchantments at tier 5 are cracked. This is weird. And then the recraft bonus goes up to 52%. So if you go, okay, so this is a way for you to go Dorito and like be rewarded with more gambling. This is crazy. This is going to be a turbo all-star right here. The enchantments at tier 5 are so goddamn good though that I think it will be legit. Very interesting. Metamorphic Mandible, pupate duration increased. I like these items that they added in 7.40. This one and the Idol of Skriok. Those are good. Magic resistance increased. That's nice. Prophet's Pendulum. Passive. Do you have to let it linger? 30% of damage taken is delayed over 5 seconds. I don't like that. I really don't like that. Damage is lethal, thank God. I do not like the idea of a hero having permanent rum. Permanent rum buff is a scary thing. I guess it's a tier 4, but still. Rattle Cage. Reverberate. Damage. Wait. No. Reverberate. I didn't say the other one. Damage threshold increase from 180 to 220. New tier 5s, boys. Harmonizer. Passive Balance. Is this a Night Rain reference? Grants 5% mana cost reduction for every hero ability off cooldown. And 6% spell amplification for every... Wait, this is Choice Scarf. Yo, they had, or like choice specs or whatever. Pick your one. They added choice items to Dota. That's funny. Item spells are affected by both effects. However, item cooldowns don't affect the Harmonizer buff. Wait, invoked abilities and sub abilities don't count when they're hidden. When they're hidden, so Shadow Fiend, Shadow Fiend up big. That's funny. What about Kez? They're hidden, I guess. The buff counts only current abilities that have cooldown, even if it's passive. Oh, like passive, like Wraith King crit. That's what it's talking about. This might be really good. I'm not 100% sure who it's good on. Yeah, this is weird. Like a lot of the, it cut away some of the fun ones with Invoker and the sub abilities that don't appear. Yeah, whatever. I'm not sure who would want Harmonizer, but I'm sure it's okay. Spell Amp is good, and if you can get, like, what, 30% Spell Amp on Shadow Fiend ulti, that sounds pretty good to me. Rift Shadow Prism, health cost decreased, incoming damage decreased, good. I only saw Rift Shadow Prism a small handful of times in the previous patch, and it was garbage, so it's nice to see it get a little better. Still not sure who wants it. Witchbane is back, hooray! And Spider Legs, skitter duration increased from 10 seconds to 14. Okay, it's a good item already. Witchbane, it's now a tier 5 neutral artifact. Cleanse, where you apply basic Dispel. Cast range, okay, and on all units in a 300 unit radius area. Is that how it worked? I thought it was unit target before. Cast range 500, mana cost 150, 40-second cooldown, and your attack deal bonus damage equal to 4% of target's max mana. Really good on anti-mage, I'll tell you that much. Yeah, it's okay. I could see, as a tier 5, it's maybe punching a little bit above its weight class, but also just like having a basic Dispel that can affect multiple units is like really good. Yeah, I could see honestly both supports and cores picking up Witchbane. This item got removed for a reason. It was really good, but it was a tier 4 back then. As a tier 5, will it still hang? We'll have to wait and see. Enchantment changes. Number of enchantment choices also increased, but only for tiers 2 through 5, same as the items. No longer randomized. They are based on your hero's primary attribute. Huh. With some available to all heroes. Okay. Okay, this is interesting. This is really interesting, actually. Hulking, Audacious, Feverish, and Manic. So there's some new ones as well. And there's no change. So 2, 3, and 4 all have the same pool, basically. Except that Greedy is removed and then Timeless is there for tier 4. Okay. That's a weird change. Bunch removed. No one knows the names of all of these. They haven't been in the game long enough for everyone to know. Quicken is now a guaranteed... This is the mana movement speed, I believe. Vital. Now guaranteed tier 1 option. Health 2 regen. Okay, good. It was so annoying to me that they didn't have health regen. This is the bonus HP. Brawny. Okay, it's just the better version of Vital. Tough. Alert, this is the attack speed, / vision radius, and then later on attack range. Mystical no longer provides cast range, now provides mana cost, mana loss, aura, and also magic resistance at this tier for Mystical. Okay, now is a guaranteed option for greedy. This is the reduced attack damage plus GPM, which I feel like I never got when I was playing support, and I got it all the time as a core. Crude, guaranteed option for strength heroes only. So this is the int penalty, but base attack time reduction. Okay, so you can get it early now. Messing with bats is a very scary thing to do. So Valve is being a little bit brave by giving access to this like at tier 2, but hey, why not? There's a lot of heroes who are really balanced by their bat. Nimble. This is movement speed, damage, and reduced health regeneration, so they're adding more negatives. That's probably a good thing, actually. Keen-eyed, intelligence only. Cast range, mana regen, max mana penalty. Really good on subs. Very good on subs. Titanic. Attack and status resistance. It's like base damage bonus, I believe. Okay, so it's also, the scaling is weird as well. And also reduces attack speed now. Interesting. Timeless is now a guaranteed tier 4/5. Evolved, that's the Apex one that just gives you flat a shitload of your primary stat. Fleet-footed, this was the movement speed one, I think, that give you like plus 100 or something. It basically just means that you didn't need to have boots anymore. Vampiric is now a guaranteed option for all heroes. Hooray! Bonus night vision later on, and it got increased. Cool. Spell lifesteal increased hugely from 30 to 20. Okay. And lifesteal bonus increased as well. It's just, oh, it's all the way up to 30%. Damn, okay. Let's go. Let's go. Vampiric was already one of my favorites. Audacious is now guaranteed for agility heroes only. If I remember correctly, this was more incoming damage, but you deal more attack speed and you have like the magic effect on your attack, I think. Hulking, plus 5% max health, basically a free heart, but minus 30% attack speed. Okay. This is cool. I actually really like these changes. Feverish, now is a guaranteed tier 5 options. I don't remember what this one was. Was it the end? Or the XP game? Maybe that. I don't know. Manic, now provides tier 5 option for universal heroes only. Minus 18% bat, 20% cast speed, minus 20% vision. That's actually kind of a big deal, more so than Whisper of the Dread was. But hey. Alright, hero updates. So, there's going to be a lot of changes here. I don't know if you see, but over on the right side of the screen, we have the scroll bar. This is going to be the vast majority of the updates. We're going to take one more short break. Alright, no skipping ahead. However, somehow I got it spoiled that Wind Ranger got shit on. This is good. Sir Action slacks up big. Abaddon, our first hero as always. Withering Mist. So this is his innate. Health restoration reduction changed to scale. Okay, cool. Now also modifies incoming healing. When I did the innate tier list, I thought this was only on his attacks. Turns out it's any damage, I think, unless that guy was lying to me. So we'll see. Miscoiled damage heal increased, cooldown decreased on borrowed time. I think these are a bit of apology nerfs. They really put Abaddon in the dirt and rubbed his nose in it because he was like a pretty potent carry for a little while, and Valve doesn't seem to like that, so they nerfed him a lot. This seemed to be like... These are apologies to support ABBA players. So he's probably a better support now, and an even worse core. But wow, you can get borrowed time because of the talent changes as well. You can get borrowed time down to a 55-second cooldown. And that ticks down during the duration of itself. That's quite good. That's quite good. Abaddon's support is probably better, and I already thought he was like playable, so he's probably significantly better now. If they wanted to buff the core version, they would have buffed the shield numbers or Curse of Avernus, so they're clearly trying to play him as a support now. Alchemist, Grievel's Greed. Base gold bonus and maximum gold. Oh, okay, so giving Ags now also gives you more gold. Okay, so the snowball is faster for Aghanim's Slave, which I don't think Scepter Slave is good. Please stop. But Valve is like gently trying to push you towards it, I suppose. Corrosive weaponry movement slow per stack increased. Base attack damage reduction per stack increased. This is probably for the best. Alk fell off so hard. Like, Alk should fall off, make no mistake, but he fell off way harder than he necessarily had to the point where, like, I wouldn't recommend him outside of very dedicated Death Ball strats that are simultaneously also 4 Protect 1 strats at the same time. Those are hard to pull off. So making Alk do more impact with corrosive weaponry is good. And then some slight buffs here. Alk is probably playable. He's probably a little bit more playable now than he was before. I don't know if he's good. He's a hero you really have to see in action, because he's affected by so many other things. None of the items really called to him. Ancient Apparition, removed Death Rhyme innate. Now he's got Bone Chill. Kind of zesty. It's a passive, improves with his level, deals magic damage with his ability, chilled for 4 seconds. So it reduces move speed instead of like sapping strength or whatever. Oh wait, it also does that. Yeah, okay. This is interesting. So standing on top of a, one of the weird things about the previous patches, even with Death Rhyme, you could kind of stand on top of the Ice Vortex and not give a shit. Now you have to care. And it slows, and it deals more damage. Okay, cool. Cold Feet now also deals DPS. Wow, they did a lot for AA. And Ice Blast now also... Wait, what? I mean, all of these, most of these things did damage already, like Ice Vortex and Cold Feet. Mana cost decreased. Okay, but Aghanim Scepter no longer reduces the mana cost. They just gave it to him for free. Okay, AA is looking really good right now. Remember what I just said about Alchemist looking playable? Yeah, never mind, dude. There's going to be a lot more AAs running around. This is good. This is like a lot of buffs for AA. And he can probably farm a lot better with Ice Vortex now. Cool. Cool stuff. And the talents are good, I think. Yeah, this is good. Yeah, okay, thank goodness, though. Being unable to ever break Cold Feet was so annoying in the previous patch. They also just need to add a ground indicator for how far you're supposed to run. Anti-Mage. Ooh, armor icon. Saucy. Literally taking no damage. Base armor increased by 1. Ha 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 ha. Persecutor, which is his innate, no longer levels with Mana Void. It now scales with his level, both the movement slow maximum and minimum. Mana Break effectiveness when applied by illusions decreased to only 25%. Ayah! Increases max mana burned per hit by an additional 1.5%. Oh, that's what the Aghanim Scepter now does. What? That's not enough. That's kind of dumpy. Oh, is that in addition to what it already does? With the blink and you get the big fat Mana Break crit? Okay. That's maybe a little bit better. That makes me a little sad, though. I always thought it was kind of interesting how after the PL change, they let Anti-Mage keep that, because that's like a very unique thing for him. And he does still have that, but instead of dealing like double Mana Break damage to the mana pool, it's now only 1.5. Blink cast range rescaled. Okay, it's better at level 1. Level 1 Blink was the most pathetic thing in the world. Like, a triple-digit number of Anti-Mage have gotten first-blooded because they were at the bounty spot in the river and they tried to blink over the wall to their tier 2 and they couldn't make it. They couldn't make it. They couldn't reach the cheeks. And instead they get their cheeks reached by the enemy team. So this is a nice change, I think. Cooldown decreased as well. It's going to be the same at level 4. Mana cost increased as well. So I guess they are kind of encouraging you to... I mean, you probably still max blink second after Mana Break. You could do that weird thing where you put 3 points in Mana Break and no one can tell you why, but that's just what everyone does. Counterspell magic damage, or magic resistance decreased slightly, duration increased a little bit. Okay, that's fine. Probably balances out in the long run. Mana Void, cooldown increased at early levels. It's no longer 70 flat. It's now 185-70. Radius decreased. Oh, that's no fun. And then the damage got rescaled as well. It's now just a flat 1. So it does more damage, but it's harder to get those saucy triple kills at early levels. Not that those ever happened anyway. Your Anti-Mage was not fighting. He was off doing other things in the jungle. Unspeakable things to the satyr camps. And then talents are also good, I think. Yeah, he has the -1 second blink cooldown talent again. I missed it. I remember when it was a... Whoa, hold up. It used to be a level 10 talent, and now it's a level 25 talent. And it's the same. He used to have -1 second blink cooldown as his very first talent that he could get. And you always win it. Or no, you didn't go it because the other one was 125 health, and that's pathetic, but it means something to AM. But it was kind of fun because like on the way back around, when you got past level 25, you were able to pick that up and it was really meaningful. It kind of gave him like a second level 25 bump at level 27. And then level 30, you get the other one. This is interesting. You probably still go the Mana Void cooldown though. It's really good. And you get the blink cast range at level 20 now, which is nice. Arc Warden. What'd they do to this boy? Strength gain decreased by a little bit. Agi gain decreased by a little bit. Damage per... Okay, so just stat nerfs and a slight movement speed bonus. Runic Infusion no longer grants the regen rune buff, but it gives him the permanent stat still. 1.5, okay. Magnetic Field now also just pulls runes by default. So I think what we're going to see with a lot of these heroes is since they removed facets, they're just going to pick one of the facets and make it canon. Which I think is totally fine. I think facets were interesting and fun to play with, but I think that they were way too much and they made balancing the game harder. And the vast majority of them were fucking useless. I wonder what they did to Chen. Spark Wraith. Slow duration increased. He got a different shard, I guess. Okay, his shard is the other one. Okay, I maybe we'll see a lot of these. So now when you have an Aghanim shard, when you spawn the Tempest Double, it's going to get the rune bonuses. And the Golden XP bounty got rescaled. Okay. I think this is like a small buff to Arc Warden, but the stats really... Because stat growth changes on Arc Warden matter a lot, because he gets so much gold and so much XP, and then there's 2 of them. So you can read this as a 0.2 decrease in strength and 0.3 in agi, and like, oh, that doesn't matter. Like, who cares? But in reality, it's a 0.4, 0.6, kind of, because of his clone copying the stats. So it is more meaningful, but also 15 movement speed and bringing him up to 300 is relevant as well. It's going to help his landing a little bit. Plus his base stats didn't change, so his landing isn't really affected by that. I'm going to withhold judgment on this, but I think it's like probably a slight buff in the grand scheme of it all. I can't remember what his previous shard was, so. Axe, removed Code of Blood innate ability. Now he has 1-man army. Okay, once again, they chose one of his facets and just made it canon. Increases axe strength by 50% of his armor, as long as there are no allied heroes within a 700 radius of him. Effect fades. Okay, and then they moved the Code of Blood thing just strictly to Culling Blade, which is good. That actually impacts a project that I'm working on in the background that I am excited to reveal at a later date, but now I have to adjust it to fit with this. Bane. Strength gain decreased. Everything got decreased, because you know how Bane is. And attack range increased to 425. Nice. His innate is reworked. Whenever he kills an enemy hero, or they die under the effect of a debuff, they get a terror for the rest of the game. What? Offensive infinite stacking mechanics. That is fucked up, dude. That is... What? Okay, there's a max. So for every time Bane kills you, or you die under an effect, you now you have decreased status resistance. Up to 5 stacks. So you can have 25% decreased status resistance. Is the 20-second Bane stun real now? It might be. That's scary. And then they gave the Nightmare Walk as his innate thing. Okay, cool. This is very scary. Like, because now when you get Fiend's Grip, not only do you have to worry about, like, oh, I'm going to die now, but also the next time you get Fiend's Grip, you're even more likely to die. That is... Oof, that's terrifying. Oh my god, that's so scary. Why'd you do that, Valve? It is called Terror for a reason. That's very funny. I now understand why they kind of brutalized his stat gain, but giving him the attack range buff is nice as well. Okay. Bane is probably going to be pretty fun this patch. I don't know if he's going to be good, but he's going to be fun. Bat Rider. They cut off his legs and his arms and his ears and his nose. Firefly now also provides an increasing movement speed bonus that reaches its maximum. Wait, what? They buffed him? What? They buffed him? Why'd you do that? Why'd you make Firefly make him move faster? What the hell? And then his talents are like, these aren't even nerfs. I guess, okay, they took a little bit away from Sticky Napalm. They wanted him to be a little bit more well-rounded, I think. Oh, because they removed the facet entirely. So now he doesn't have the 5th level anymore. Now it's a level 20 talent, so you can't, like, hit the ground running as soon as you hit, like, level 8 or whatever it was and just nay-nay on people like crazy. Okay, Bat Rider is hopefully less of a problem. I have a feeling he will still be a little bit of a problem, but he's going to be less of one. And the problems he presents won't be based on right-clicks. Ugh. Beast Friend. Removed Rugged innate ability. Inner Beast is now innate. Okay, Rugged was the damage block, guaranteed. Bonus attack speed is now based on the level. Okay. Wild Axe's damage increased. Damage amp per stack decreased. Okay. So it's you don't need Aghanim Scepter as much to do damage with it. Beastmaster's attacks on enemy heroes also apply a Wild Axe's debuff with the corresponding level. Okay, so they're upgraded by Shard now. So did they change his Scepter? Nope, his Scepter's the same. Okay, interesting. Interesting. Maybe they like anti-Zoo Beast Friend. The Boar is now called Summon Razorback. What? Valve, shut up. I'm calling it the Boar. Literally in the next line. Literally in the next line, they call it the Boar. Why would you do this? I can understand removing the Call of the Wild part of the name, but like, come on, bro. Why would you call it Summon Razorback and then in the next official line call it the Boar? It's the same thing in the bird. They changed bird to summon raptors, and it's wait, raptors. Are there multiple? It is, yeah. There's 2 hawks. Okay, they give him as like a shard for free, I think. Cool. I don't like that. Boar's armor increased by 1. Boar attack damage increased slightly. Why are they buffing him? These are like buffs, right? What am I missing? I don't like this. Stop buffing Beastmaster, bro. They're playing him as a position 1. Is this what you want, Valve? And the Hawks will not prioritize Beastmaster's attack target. Ooh, these sound like big Beastmaster buffs. Am I missing something? I feel like I gotta be missing something, but I'm not. I guess the damage amp decreasing is a big deal. That's a significant nerf. But everything else sounds really good. Whatever. Yeah, Beastmaster sounds like he will be even better than he already is, but in a different way. Bloodseeker, please don't mutilate my boy. Sanguivora, max health changed to just 1.5% per level. Okay, literally no difference. Blood Rage has a no target ability that affects only blood. Oh, okay. Okay. Pure damage based on target's max health with Aghanim Shard and now pierces debuff immunity. Cool. I didn't even know it didn't do that before. I just assumed it did. So Bloodseeker is like the same, except you can now not target Zeus with your Q. Okay, that's not that big of a deal. Bloodseeker's probably still fine. Again, I thought he was pretty good this patch. You lose a little bit of utility, but you also get a slight buff to your level 25 talent that silences people for 8.5 seconds, and that's funny. Bounty Hunter. Big Game Hunter. Ability reworked. Bounty receives 15% more kill and assist gold if the enemy hero is big game. Capitalize B, capitalize G. They are big game if they are one of the top 3 net worth heroes on the enemy team. These heroes have a debuff that points out they're among these heroes. The debuff is visible only to Bounty Hunter and his allies. Okay. That's kind of funny. If you could see it on yourself, then you would be able to accurately determine which heroes were eligible for the shard off of Tormentor. So maybe it's good that you can't see it. Now your supports like would it also would be toxic as shit if your pause forward like popped off and has more money than your mid. They could like ping it out and be like, "What up, poor boy? I'm big game." Big shame to the heroes who don't have it. Janata Goldsteel increased slightly at early levels. Awesome. I love being annoyed. Shadow Walk now grants bonus movement speed when active. Okay, cool. And it applies to his shard with friendly shadow as well. Track no longer gives him bonus movement speed, though. I mean, this is better. It's easier to be in Shadow Walk than it is to be like running at a track target. So, it's fine. Brewmaster. This hero was low-key brawlic in the previous patch. I didn't realize it until the end, but I started running into these Brewmaster players who were going like Midas, like Refresher Ags, or maybe Ags Refresher. And like, what do you do? Like, unless there's a small handful of heroes that can kill Brew when he's split up 90% of the game. But like, good lord. It looks like nothing is being done about it. Max status resistance changed. It's the same. It's the tiniest nerf. 0.5% status resistance. A few games have been won or lost. Very little MMR has been exchanged at the whims of 0.5% status resistance. Primal Split, Boulder stun duration decreased. Cool. Bruling Cyclone duration decreased as well. Good. Okay, so slight nerfs to Primal Split. I don't really understand what this talent does. 2, 1, wait, what? I think it's a buff. I don't know. I'm not going to read that. My brain glazes over when I get halfway through it. Bristle. Prickly, damage and debuff duration amp changed from... Okay, this is scaling. Viscous Nasal Goo. Stack limit increased. Same duration on all units. Used to have double duration on creeps. I didn't know that. Level 25 talent. No more spell lifesteal. Now it's minus 25 bristleback damage threshold. Okay. There are more ways to get spell lifesteal now that I think are more appropriate for bristleback. So... maybe you go like Shiva's too because of the AoE bonus. I'm not sure. Bristle's fine. Probably just as good as he was before. Maybe a slight buff. Yeah, it is a slight buff, but his Prickly is worse at very early levels. So it's fine though. It bounces out at what, level 10? Yeah, you're fine. Broodmother. Spider's milk. Spiders don't have titties. Hero health as heal changed from 2%. Okay, it's just scaling. Except it scales even higher. Insatiable Hunger applies lifesteal to spiderlings that are near her. Movement speed bonus decreased in webs. Slightly. I already thought Broodmother was good. This is a little bit strange. Level 25 talent also affects... so minus BAT on the spiderlings. Not a huge deal. At level 25, they certainly don't hit hard, but they do hit. And there's a fuckload of them. Level 15 talent is the incapacitating bite attack bonus, decrease from +6 to +5. It's fine. It's fine. That's probably to compensate a little bit for the spiderlings getting buffed by insatiable hunger. I thought Broodmother was already a really good hero. Not really good, but definitely good. And I thought she was already a great carry, and these sound like they are big buffs to her. Medium buffs, small buffs even. I'm not sure. Buffs of some size. Yeah, weird. I really don't want Broodmother to become a meta pick. I'm scared. Centaur, strength gain increased, even higher. Removed Rawhide. I miss Rawhide. So now he just has horsepower. So he gains 30% of his strength as bonus movement speed. It doesn't stack with boots. Okay, cool. So that, again, it's a facet that they just turned into his innate. Called it a day. Chaos Knight, removed Reigns of Chaos. Now he has Fundamental Forging. This was the thing where he can spawn extra illusions. Now, when he crafts a neutral item, you get an additional random enchantment that doesn't provide negative stats. Huh. The random enchantment is selected from all of them, including those not normally available to strength heroes. Due to negative stats, CK can't randomly get crude. Oh, okay. I thought it was that the negative stats just wouldn't apply. But in this case, it's you can't get ones that have negative stats. And that's actually... The random enchantment is different from the one used in crafting. Okay, cool. You can't get the same one twice. As fun as that would be to have like minus 40% bat on CK, that shit would be balanced. Reality Rift cooldown decreased to, I guess, make up for the fact that it no longer randomly debuffs you with whatever specifically counters you whenever it uses it on you. Chaos Strike lifesteal increased as well. And then Phantasm. Ag Scepter no longer guarantees to create an additional illusion on cast. Aghanim Scepter now provides a passive component. Okay, so his old innate, which was the random chance to get an extra illusion, is now packaged under his scepter. Okay, cool. Sure. Probably not that good. This is probably overall a nerf, to be honest. This sounds fun. Fundamental Forging sounds really fun, but it doesn't sound particularly conducive towards winning games of Dota. Chen. Removed Summon Convert innate ability. Yeah, what'd they do? He's a weird one. New innate ability called Zealot. Has both passive and active components. Improves with game's time. This is weird. When Chen respawns, he is joined in battle by a Zealot, a melee creep warrior with the Martyrdom ability, which allows him to sacrifice himself to deal damage or heal an ally. What? Zealot has the same stats as the current melee creeps on his team, including Super or Mega form, but has 125 attack range. What if some are Super and some are Mega? Well, you can't have some Mega creeps, but what if some of them are Super? Base damage increased by 2 per Chen's level. Doesn't have runty attack type. Martyrdom ability. What are the numbers on this? 500 range unit target ability. Creep sacrifices itself. It's a 1000 speed projectile. Deals damage an enemy or healing an ally. 25 plus 20% of Zealot's health at the moment of the cast. Okay. And the healing is half. This makes sense. I was a little bit worried that you would be able to basically suicide bomb it, like run it under tower to tank, and then when it gets super low, you'd be able to cast the ability, but now that it's based on its current HP, you can't do that. Ability can be cast on a controlled unit. Okay, so now Zealot is also used to teleport his creeps to him. Okay. Lane creeps targeted by Holy Persuasion are upgraded into Zealots. This is so you can have multiple. This is so weird, dude. What they do to Chen. It can be cast on existing persuaded creeps that have not been damaged to unsummon them. Holy Persuasion. Okay. Now increases all of creatures' outgoing damage. I don't know what happened where they didn't, like, the editors did not do a pass on Chen's section for some reason. Either that or he was the last hero because they were still figuring out what to do with him last night. Now increases all of creatures' outgoing damage by up to 18% instead of only increasing attack damage. Makes him scale better. It's better when you're using it on ancient creeps and you pick up the shard. And then they remove the teleport aspect of Divine Favor. Okay. This is weird. I don't really know what to make of this. I think it's like fine. Chen is a weird hero, and by removing the innate and facets, or removing the facet system, they really kind of handicapped him because now he can't summon yellow hellbears over and over again, or like the satyrs. So this is weird, but I'm not going to pass any judgment on this because I need to see it in action. I wonder what the Zealot looks like. I hope it looks cool. So now we have another Modern Warfare 2 reference in the form of Martyrdom Pro, and also the Zealot from Halo 3. Clinks. What'd they do to him? What'd they do? Base movement speed decreased by 5. Doesn't matter. Strafe skeleton attack speed multiplier decreased a little bit. Death Pact's heal increased talent at 20. You got buffed. Okay. Is Valve okay with Clinks? I guess. This is weird. You know, the strafe multiplier matters because that is a fairly significant DPS decrease because that's multiplied by the number of skellies. Yeah, but still, these are a lot. I expected a lot more lines of text for Clinks, but do what you like. Do what you like. Clockwork. Nice. We still got it, boys. Clockwork can eat metal. Armor power has another component of it that just allows him to eat chainmail, which is funny, and they're cheaper now. Battery assault mana cost decreased at early levels. It scales now. Clockwork can now freely move through the cogs, sinking them down when walking over them. Other units can also walk over sunken power cogs. It's a very weird solution to the problems that power cogs presented. I assume that allied heroes can do this. It's only Clockwork. So you can still, like, cut off her team, but I guess that makes it fair. Mana cost rescaled as well. Mana burn increased. Stop. Overclocking duration increased from 13 seconds to 18, and increases battery assault radius to 330. Huh. They buffed the shit out of this. No longer increases rocket flare damage. There we go. I don't know if you guys saw the shenanigans that, like, it's always like a group of bored teenagers. People were doing a thing, and by people I just mean like 4 guys, where it was Faceless Void Time Zone, Coddle, Gif Mana, and then like one other thing, and then Clockwork would hit overclock, and then just like rain rockets all over the map on like a 0.2 second cooldown, and it was broken as shit. Like you would just like absolutely obliterate people from across the map, and there was nothing they can do because you can't run because it slows, and it also deals a ton of damage, and it's sustained vision. So once you get hit by one, you're gonna get hit by them all. That was very clearly just a stupid meme strat, though. I think the other thing the Clockwork had was like a shitload of rapiers, so you know, good luck pulling that off in a real game. But that's not gonna be a thing no more. Maybe it happened to Valve. A Valve employee was in that game, and he was like, "Oh hell no!" Went to the giant whiteboard in Bellevue, Washington, and was like, "All right, guys, we gotta stop this. Stop this nonsense." And then some talent changes. Whatever. I don't really care. Getting rid of the additional power cog hits to kill is probably good. That was very annoying. Crystal Maiden removed Blue Heart Flow innate ability, so she doesn't get her mana regeneration buff anymore. Glacial Guard, new innate ability. Portion of the mana CM spends on her abilities are converted to a physical barrier. Each one stacks, but with independent durations. 30... Whoa. That's kind of a big deal. So I'm assuming that it no longer allows you to apply any kind of barrier to your teammates like you could do with Frost Nova before. But now it's on you and it's automatic, and that's very good. This is huge actually for Crystal Maiden, because also her mana costs get really big. And the mana spend for barrier, like if you're at level, it goes up to 90. Wait, no, I'm an idiot. Wait, yeah, no, I'm smart. It goes up to 90%. Yo! So like you can pop ulti and it's like what, 600 mana, and you just get like a massive chunk of holy moly. That's wait, 90% of 600, and a mass skills coming in 540. There you go. That is kind of huge, and that doesn't include her other spells. So you know, you do like Shard QW ulti. That's like what, almost 1,000? That's crazy, actually. That's really good for Crystal Maiden. And that would also just gives her the mana regen amp. And I think these are bigger numbers than before too. Maybe not. I don't know. Yeah. Oh no, they got rid of Kung Fu Maiden. I loved Kung Fu Maiden. The level 20 talent that gives you 225 attack speed. They finally got rid of it. It's been in the game for years. Oh, that makes me sad. But it buffs it up to an additional 20%. So you can go above, you can go 110% of the mana spent into a physical damage barrier. Obviously, she's still weak to magic. This sounds really fun. Like, even in the lane, this sounds like really good value and quite fun. You know, I'm talking about it in a magical Christmas land scenario, but in practice, it's probably good. You know, you wait for them to burn their spells before you ulti anyway. Magical damage is still a problem, but if they don't have easy access to it after burning their spells, then you just do this, and you're a lot harder to kill. You still don't have any armor, but this will make armor and magic resistance even more powerful on you. Maybe not magic resistance. Yeah, Crystal Maiden. This is cool. This is really fun. If you're a Crystal Maiden player, you're going to have fun this patch, I think. Darkseer. Aggrandize. Renamed to Quick Wit. Aggrandize. Now also provides +1 attack speed for each point of int. Okay, that's the fast that he picked. Max health and mana restore base value decreased. Okay, so a little bit less mana and HP whenever he levels up like an RPG character. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Dark William. Ability reworked. Her innate. So the health and mana regeneration always have 20% amp, which increases to 100 whenever she becomes untargetable or invulnerable. I wonder if it works with Yules now. I was told it didn't work with Yules. It really only worked with Shadow Realm, but maybe they fixed it. Maybe that guy was lying. I don't know. I trust you guys in the comments. I don't think you realize how much I trust you guys. Someone will say some wacky shit, and as long as it's believable enough, I'll shrug my shoulders and just add that to my belief system. Dark Willow. Dawn Breaker. Base damage increased by 6. Cool. Break of Dawn, which was her innate, it gave her bonuses whenever it became daytime. Bonuses granted are now at their maximum for any daytime caused by Dawnbreaker's abilities for the entirety of that daytime. Okay, so like for her ulti, basically. Does it linger? I can't remember. Amplifies heals Dawnbreaker provides as well. Oh, with Aghanim Scepter. So, nice little buff. But it no longer increases heal per pulse. I don't know the math. Maybe it's better. I don't know. Solar Guardian cooldown decreased. That's notable. It goes down to 90 seconds at level 3 anyway. And a 6-second temporary daytime when the cast starts. Okay, well, there's your linger. You have to let it linger. And then a shitload of talent changes. I'm not reading this. Yeah, I am. Oh, you can get movement speed for allies with Celestial Hammer. That sounds interesting. Yeah, that's the only interesting one. The rest are just number changes. That's fine. Oh, 25% additional Luminosity critical strike damage. Eee. One of the fun things that I've played with is like right-click Dawnbreaker, where you go like Desolator, Echo Saber, and Assault Cuirass. Sorry, that last one didn't rhyme. That kind of Dawnbreaker might be a little bit more fun this patch. Yeah, cool. Interesting. I don't know if you go Ags. They did nerf her Ags a while ago. I still think it's quite strong, but we'll see. Dazzle. You probably need like a reason to go it now. Like you're trying to like reaction time check the Nyx Assassin or something like that, or the Silencer maybe. Dazzle. Weave no longer levels with Nothal Projection. Armor change per stack rescaled to just 1. And the duration is what scales now. Okay, interesting way to do it. Applying a stack of Weave on an ally heals them for 60 per stack of Weave, including the stack that was just applied. That's his new Aghanim Shard. They're doing a weird UI thing. Nothal Projection no longer does a hard dispel when it ends. Okay. Alright. Maybe they took that out of Juggernaut's queue as well. Who knows? And no longer upgrade with Aghanim Shard. Okay. Death Prophet. Base armor increased by 1. Witchcraft, which is her innate. They changed the scaling. Projectile speed on silence increased by a little bit. Probably for the best. That honestly might make it easier to manta dodge. Not that you should. There's no reason to try to manta dodge silence. That's a huge flex to manta dodge this silence. I don't think it does any damage either. Exorcism, ghost spawn rate improved. Oh wait, no, doesn't it just like cancel blinks? I guess. Easier to manta dodge it for when you're on 1 HP and she chucks the pigskin down the gridiron for you to, wait, no, the gridiron is the helmet, not the, whatever. Foobah. A bunch of talent changes. They look fine. Cool. Yeah, I already thought she was good. Ghost spawn rate improved. That's like nothing. Who cares? It's fine. It's fine. She's probably still good. Cool. Disruptor. His innate that pushes people away. It now deals damage, of course, equal to 1.5 times Disruptor's int. That's a very new Dota thing to do, to take an ability that was already good and useful and then make it also deal damage, because why not? Thunderstrike. Strike damage increased by 5 at all levels. Cool. That actually is meaningful because it gets repeated 4 times, so that's like a 20 damage increase at all levels. Kinetic Fence is now granted by Shard. Wait, so is that in addition to the Soikle? He kept the Soikle. Yeah, and then they just kind of changed the numbers on it to make it a little bit more appealing, and you don't level it up, so it just needs to be like a mix between level 3 and 4. I guess they just made it the level 4 version. Cool. Formation delay increased from 0.4 seconds to 1 second, though. Okay, and some small talent buffs. Whoa. Level 25 talents. They used to be Static Storm Radius and Glimpse Cooldown. Now it's plus 6 Thunderstrike strikes. Also decreases... Okay, so it's the interval that's changed. So it's like boom, 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 boom. And then also 2 Glimpse charges. Dude, Glimpse is already an unethical ability. Like, you do not score homegrown, cage-free, grass-fed kills with Glimpse in the first place, and now you get 2 of them at level 25? Nuts. Disgusting. Have you ever seen that clip? It's like a really old clip, and not a lot of people have seen it. It's like during Prime Eternal Envy, where he had a bounty, or I think it was a Clockwork and a Disruptor on his team, and he was playing as Death Prophet, and he had finally killed the enemy Tinker, and he was like the raid boss of the enemy team. When the Tinker respawned, Eternal Envy calmly and with authority dictated his supports to rocket flare the enemy fountain and then glimpse the Tinker as he respawned in order to send him to the location where he died previously in order to win the game. I think about that clip a lot. This is almost nothing. I mean, Disruptor was there, but other than that, it has nothing to do with it. Okay, let's keep going. Doom. Oh, man. Did they butter his biscuit? They better have. Level, Pain. Ability slightly reworked. When Doom... slightly reworked. When he attacks enemy heroes, it's a curse. After 2.5 seconds, they burst into a pillar of fire. Into a pillar of who knows what spice. Damaging itself and all enemy units in a 6/6 AoE. Dude, Valve are a bunch of teenagers, dude, and I love it. For 15% of the damage taken from Doom over this duration. Wait, what? Oh, Doom the hero. So you hit someone, you deal damage to a bunch of heroes using your AoE stuff, then that damage compounds and deals additional damage to the attack. If the cursed hero's level is a multiple of 6, the cursed damage and radius is increased by 6/6%. Okay. The Devil, from the Bible, Devour. Now the default cast gain on Learning Devour is the one that grants abilities of Devour. Okay, they swapped it. Cool. I can't wait for Doom players to like mess up their muscle memory. Cooldown decreased from 70 seconds to 66 seconds. Oh, are we doing this now? Oh, we are, dude. We're doing it. Oh, look at all this. Oh, this is awesome. Shard upgrades Devour. Cooldown is 2 charges with 66-second restore time. You can eat Ancients. Gain spells have a 20% bonus AoE and 40% spell amp. Sheesh. I'm eating that Prowler. Scorched Earth, radius increased from 600 to 666, baby. Hell yeah. That also provides Doom with bonus health regen. Hey, it's back. They took away the shard upgrade. Obviously, it's on Devour now. Infernal Blade stun duration increased from 0.6 to 0.66, of course. And then Doom scaling. Oh, baby. Damage per second increased. It now does 66 damage at level 3. Dude. And in the talents. Wait, he has a level 15 talent that gives him 66 damage. Oh, man. Level 25 talent. Doom applies Break, replaced with permanent Scorched Earth. Dude, this is so funny. I was joking about people not that long ago that, like, this should be his Ags. You get an Ags on Doom, and it's just permanent Scorched Earth. And they can do this now because he doesn't have the shard that heals him constantly, but that shard was bugged to shit before anyway. It wouldn't actually heal you based on the damage you dealt with Scorched Earth. It would only deal... It would just heal you, like, the amount of damage in the tooltip of Scorched Earth. Ability becomes toggleable with no mana cost and a 2.5 second cooldown between toggles. Okay. That's actually really funny. Doom is a source of mute, by the way. A lot of people in the other video were quick to remind me of it, and thank you for the correction. Dragon Knight. Speaking of buttered biscuits, strength gain decreased. Okay. Dude, DK cannot catch a break. Movement speed also decreased. Damage reduction rescaled to be, like, worse overall, but the Breathfire damage reduction in the lane is really important. Cast range increased by a shitload, and fixed the cast indicator not matching the actual damage range. I thought that was a feature. I thought that was, like... I thought that was an intentional part of the hero, kind of like how Lion Stun, you can stun on the ground and the range is longer. I thought it was like that for Breathe Fire. I thought that was to teach new players. Never mind. Dragon Tail no longer has an Elder Dragon specific cast range. Wait, is it just range now? It just is a range stun? 25 radius AoE by default. Wait, what? Worm's Wrath now always grants the bonus magic damage on attack and area of effect bonus. Oh yeah, because he can't be blue, red, green no more. Oh, what about the skin? The skin from Crownfall. Do you just pick whichever one it is and then it's that forever now? Lame. Elder Dragon form now evolves per level. The bonuses are cumulative. Green Dragon gives him the... Okay, so it's back to the way it was. He goes green, red, and blue. He gets magic damage over time. He gets splash damage. And then he gets the Frost debuff. That apparently it pierces debuff immunity. I don't know if it did before, but that's cool. And then you get bonus movement speed, so you get back the what you lost and then some. No longer provides bonus attack damage. Increases cast range of all abilities by 350. Whoa, so Breathe Fire is huge. It's bigger than Blink Dagger. And then level 4. So he gets more stuff, and then I assume free pathing and magic resistance. Yes. Fireball no longer has an Elder Dragon specific cast range. Damage per second increased. Okay, so he doesn't have a ranged Dragon Tail now. It's just everything gets increased by 350. Okay. Yeah. Sure, whatever. Who cares? It is nice to see the level 25 talent of the Worm's Wrath effect during Elder Dragon form is now just all the time. This is good. Okay. I'm not sure if this was enough biscuit buttering, but giving him access, well, giving him access to all 3 of the facet effects is pretty good. I can't say for sure. I do think that DK is better off now, and having a Breathe Fire with 1350 cast range is kind of crazy. Dude, you're gonna get sniped. Like, that, it's not like power shot range, but that is bigger than Blink Dagger. Like, that's like a full screen. That sounds really fun to play with, honestly. Really good in the lane, too. Drow Ranger. Base damage decreased. Damage at level 1 decreased. Precision no longer levels with marksmanship. Yeah, it's just her normal level now. Ags for Frost Arrows now applies the healing effect. Knockback duration now scales inversely with distance from target. Inverse. Oh, okay, yeah. So if they're further away, wait. Yeah. If they're closer, they get knocked back further. Before it was the same distance at all levels, I think. Something like that. Multi-shot. Okay, so you just get to move and use items, so they just made that a thing. Now Drow Ranger deals 25% more damage when attacking from high ground while on Glacier. Okay, so they kind of split it up. But she doesn't get True Strike in the hill anymore, and it doesn't buff multi-shot. Okay. Glacier was a little too strong. Drow was a little bit controversial in the video that I posted earlier today that is already completely useless. That's the reason I released it early. Yeah. Interesting. Drow Ranger, you can now buy Butterfly against her again, I guess. Earth Spirit. Max charges for Stone Remnant. It's the same. It's the same. Why is it the same? Am I having a stroke? Whatever. Boulder Smash, slow duration increased at early levels. Geomagnetic Grip, silence duration. Geomagnetic Grip. Magnetized DPS increased as well. Okay. Tiny number buffs for his basic abilities at lower levels. Tiny number buff for his ult at higher levels. And then a nice talent buff for Geomagnetic Grip, remnant damage from plus 175 to 250. Okay, super tiny buffs. I didn't really see much Earth Spirit in the previous patch. I don't see much Earth Spirit at all because no one plays him. I assume that he's fine. I actually got the chance to play against a couple of position 3 Earth Spirits, and by the chance, I mean the displeasure. It's really annoying because it's really hard to dodge Boulder Smash in the early game, especially before boots. You just get hit by it and there's nothing you can do. Speaking of getting hit by shit you can't do anything about, Earthshaker's Slugger. No longer levels with Echo Slam. Numbers changed to scale off of his level. Stun duration increased on Fissure by 0.2 seconds, that's fine. Aftershock radius increased, that's a buff. Echo Slam shockwave projectile speed increased. Didn't they do this again fairly recently? Or maybe they nerfed it. Whatever it is, it was the punishment for being good at TI as a mid laner. And I was happy to see Earthshaker get, like, put to the sword. I wish it could happen more often. I know people love this hero. I'm not people. I'm me. Yeah. Just small buffs to slowly bring Earthshaker back into the meta. He's not going to become a very important hero until there's, like, another 2 or 3 patches like this, where they just give him slight love taps to make him a little bit better. Elder Titan. Removed Tip the Scales innate ability. Momentum. New innate ability. Passive cannot be leveled up. Armor increased. Wait. His armor is scales off his movement speed. Sure. What the hell? What? Oh, when you... okay, so it's only movement speed above his base, which is 305. Okay, that's weird. That's a new scaling feature unlocked in Dota. I don't think we've ever done that before. Movement speed to armor. We have strength to movement speed, and now we have movement speed to armor. So yeah, those are both innates, so you can't ability draft them together and then form the ultimate feedback loop. But hey, Astral Spirit no longer provides armor on return. Does this make up for momentum? Why is it called momentum? You think it would give movement speed? Well, no, it scales off of his movement speed. Okay, yeah. Earth Splitter cooldown decreased, and some talent changes. Nothing too interesting, just movement changes. Oh, wait. Level 15, you can get 20% of your bonus movement speed as attack speed. That's a new one, too. Of all the heroes, I'm glad it's ET. You guys deserve something special. Strength gain on Ember increased slightly. Immolation scaling changed. Radius increased, that's nice. And he can get Cloak of Flames now, so he can stack them, which is cool. And a Radiance. That'd be fun. Searing Chains mana cost decreased. Sleight of Fist bonus hero damage increased. This hero was like already good. I guess the Spirit Vessel changes, or not even the Spirit, because Spirit Vessel it didn't really change. So, I mean, I'm cool with Ember being a meta pick. He's fun to watch, fun to play against. Yeah, cool. Ember up big. Enchantress Rabble Rouser. Damage increase changed to 4% per level, so just cut it a little bit. Worth noting in the innate thing that it makes enemy jungle creeps hit them harder, which is funny. Cast range increased on Enchant. Okay, folding her one facet into it, and increases the attack range. The numbers aren't quite as good, but that makes sense. And they just completely removed the part of her facet that spawns additional Nature's Attendants on her whenever she takes damage. And the tooltip for Nature's Attendants is probably pretty good. Just letting you see what it actually does. Dota players can't do math. I'm Dota players, by the way. Enigma. Removed Gravity Well. Event Horizon. Units in a 600 radius moving away have a movement speed penalty. That goes up to 34% at max level. They gave him degen aura? They gave Enigma degen aura? Why'd they do this? Stop. This sounds awful. This sounds miserable to play against, actually. Why did they do this? 600 is, like, significant. That's in the lane. I don't like that. I really don't like that. Wait, units. So it doesn't even, is it enemy units, too? Is it allied heroes? It's probably just enemy units, but, like, man. If that includes, like, lane creeps, that's really weird. I assume it's just enemy units, though. I don't know. It's weird. Yeah, this sounds fucking miserable. And they didn't even buff... Wait, we're gonna see if they buff Gyro. that's my Enigma answer. Faceless Void. Distortion Field only applies to projectiles targeting Faceless Void or an allied hero. Okay. The thing that people really complained about with Faceless Void innate is it made last hitting as a ranged hero very difficult. Gives them, like, more window to deny, right? How many ranged offlaners are playing against Faceless Void? I guess position 4 is trying to last it, but like how they do that a lot. They're usually using their spells though. Time Walk is no longer upgraded with Shard. It is now an Aghanim Scepter thing. Aghanim Scepter Time Lock attacks will no longer miss if reverse Time Walk is used too quickly. I didn't know that could even happen. Time Dilation, duration no longer counts down under the effect of Chronosphere. Okay, wasn't that the way it used to be? And then it's upgraded with Shard now. Increases attack movement speed slow per cooldown by 5%. And it lets him steal it. Oh, it lets him steal. That's good. That's good. I don't know if it's necessarily better than his previous Shard, because turning Time Walk into, like, very similar to Anti-Mage Blink with considerable upside was quite valuable. And it doesn't count down on the effects of Chronosphere. Okay, so it's just like this is interesting. This kind of makes it a little bit more about him, which it already very much so was. Oh, you get the level 15 talent. I don't know what the alternative is. Is it the attack speed in Chronosphere? I don't know. Probably. Whatever. Point is, Time Dilation is now really interesting, and then you get the talent at 15, and now they got rid of fucking Time Zone. Rip Bozo Packwatch? Question mark? And the answer is yes. Fucking hated Time Zone, dude. Get that shit out of here. Give me the full fat Chronosphere. Grimstroke. Ink Trail now also applies when an enemy hero is affected by his abilities. Okay. Now also applied by his illusions, including Dark Portrait. Oh, and it gives him a damage resistance thing that scales. Cool. And you can all cast Stroke of Fate to make it straight. Alright. Sure, whatever. Gyro. Please buff him. Base movement speed decreased. Ah, you bakas. Remove Chop Chop. Fine. Who cares? Okay, so his new innate is Afterburner. Okay, so he gets the bonus movement speed. Whoa. Damages an enemy with attacks or abilities. He gains +1 movement speed per hero and 0.5 per creep. And the duration scales too. Oh, that's the only thing that scales. Holy moly. This might be kind of crazy. They gave Side Gunner a ability icon. Aghanim Scepter upgrade moved into a separate ability. Yeah, okay. This is interesting. Chop Chop was like, I've talked about it before, but it was like not good. It sounds really good on paper, but it's just not. So getting rid of that in favor of Afterburner as a built-in without losing anything is like kind of a big deal. His base movement speed being decreased is okay because he now gets it not just from strikes off of Rocket Barrage, but like Flat Cannon. And with Flat Cannon, you can hit like 15 things at the same time. So let's say like, 5 attacks on those 15 things, even if they're all creeps, that's like a boot's worth of movement speed. And it lasts for a little bit. Like it can last up to like 7 seconds or 6.9 seconds, which is kind of weird. But like, wow. That seems pretty good. I'd have to play with it to know if it's necessarily like that good, but this has me a little bit excited for gyro. Just the idea of being a gyrocopter who's fast as shit is like, it sounds pretty fun to me. Bring back Flutter on Butterfly. I miss it. Hoodwink. Okay. Innate redirect chance now scales. Acorn shot cast range rescaled. Okay, it used to be based on her attack range, so you could manipulate it with Dragonlance. Now it scales just in a pretty small window, from 675 up to 750. Cast range increase on Bushwhack up to 1100. Small buff. Scurry no longer doubles all sources of evasion, but it doubles the redirect chance of her innate. Okay. Sharpshooter now treats creep heroes as creeps, so you can hit the bear. Nice. The projectile flies through creeps, damaging them for half value, but still applying slow and break at full force and duration. Since Spirit Bear is considered a true hero, the projectile will stop on impact with it. Okay. Alright. And then just some small talent buffs, looks like. Yeah. Oh, they got rid of her random-ass armor corruption talent. Cool. Huskar. Intelligence gain decreased. I didn't even know he had int gain. It's now 0. Wait, what did they do to Ogre? Alright. Base movement speed decreased. I guess the only thing int gain did for you was like a small amount of magic resistance, so making it 0 is probably fine. Damage increased on inner fire slightly. Knockback duration now scaled on knockback distance to a minimum of 0.4. Okay, yeah. Same thing as Draugus, so if they're further away, they don't get pushed back as much. No longer upgraded with Aghanim Shard. Okay, new Aghanim Shard is for Berserker's Blood. Burning Spear health cost changed to 2% of max health from 4% of current. Now also burns enemies for 0.5% of their... I don't like that. Whatever. Buffing Burning Spears is always very scary. But I guess 2% of max health is okay, because now he can kill himself with it. Berserker's Blood can now be activated for a health cost. It gives him... Okay, so Cauterize is now moved to his Shard, and is put on Berserker's Blood. Okay, cool. People are still going to call it Cauterize, I think. Invoker. Buffed the levels of all of his orbs. Interesting. Did they change the talent? Aghanim Scepter Twister damage from Tornado got decreased. Slightly. Now, whenever Invoker gets Aghanim Scepter or Shard, these items are inert in the inventory until Invoker activates them manually. Oh, okay. So they become items with actives and you pop them to choose which one you want. That's cool. That's actually really cool. They changed the max levels because Aghanim's no longer does that, but it gives you +1 level to whichever orb that you picked. Okay, this is cool. So you can build an Invoker. He's a choose-your-own adventure. So what's really cool about this is that you can now mix and match the scepters and shards, because you couldn't do that before. So now you can go like Kata and then... Wait, can you buy multiple? You can't change. But you can sell it and... Oh, you can't even sell it and buy it again. Okay, I thought for a sec that you could like get all 3 if you bought 3 Aghanim Scepters. That would be sick. How's it work with Alchemist? I wonder. Probably just a weird UI thing. Does the Alchemist get to pick for you? That'd be funny. Fuck you, you're getting Ice Flow. This is good. This is good. This is a really cool change, actually. +1 facet orb level at 15. I was curious about this talent. It's now 25 alacrity, speed, and damage. The input for it is WWE, because it brings the smack down. Oh, no, they just swapped it. 15 and 20 got it swapped. Okay, cool. This is actually really cool. Being able to, because now you can do like a Ghost Walk Shard and Kata. So you can cast Kata and then go into the Ghost Walk to make them slow. Dude, never let me play Evoker, dude. I cook way too hard. I'm burning the food. Someone should do that, though. Someone should do that. Io. No more Wellspring. Equilibrium. He has bonus outgoing damage amp, which linearly scales with its health, reaching a maximum of 5 plus 0.5% level at 100 health. Okay, so he just has a damage amp based on his HP, his current HP. Overcharge now provides spell amp and attack speed. Okay, so it sort of synthesized Kritzkrieg and Metagun, I guess? Yeah, Metagun is treated as the default, and then it just gave some of the Kritzkrieg bonus over. So cool. And then small talent buffs, I think. Yeah. Chikiro. Oof. Okay, they double trouble is scaling differently. That's already good. Liquid Fire now has a mana cost. No! What they do to Omni Knight. Okay, Agnum Shard reduces it to 0, though. Okay, this isn't how I would have nerfed it, but, like, this makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. Jakiro being able to do that much constant harass without any kind of mana cost was so annoying. And now there is a small mana cost. It's not big. But once you get to, like, level 7 and you have them at level 4, you're casting them, like, every 4 seconds, I think. So it does actually matter. Reducing it to 0 with Agnum Shard is quite appreciated, though. Now Jakiro is going to be begging people to go do Tormentors if we could stop buying mangoes. Alright, cool. Ice Path damage increased with the level 10 talent. Level 15 talent, the cooldown reduction for Dual Breath also got buffed. Interesting. Weird. The other one, I can't remember what else you could pick at level 15. I think it's the 175 attack range. I think that is what it is. I oftentimes preferred that. Removed the Duelist innate. He now just has Blade Form. Okay. Blade Fury is no longer upgraded with Agnum Shard. Now it's Healing Ward. Increases healing by 1.5% of max HP and hits Destroy by 1. He's probably still shit. Juggernaut, like Jakiro, I think is actually still playable. Juggernaut is probably still not playable. This does not sound good. -1 second Blade Form stat gain interval. That's interesting as a level 10 talent. Omni Slash cooldown reduction, but it replaces the Healing Ward plus 1% heal at level 15. And the movement speed during Blade Fury talent got a small buff. I don't know. This does not satisfy, I think. I love Juggernaut. He's one of my all-time favorite heroes. I do not think he's good. I think he was ass in the previous patch. I still think he's ass now. Give it a few patches. He'll be back into, well, Juggernaut is one of those heroes who's really only allowed to be good once every 3 years for a 2.5 month period. So we'll see. We'll see. It's going to be a long time before Juggernaut is a good hero again. The off-lane Mafia keeps him down. Keeper of the Light. Base movement speed decreased. Aw, his horse got sick. And then his innate ability that didn't do jack diddly shit is gone. Bright Speed. It's passive. This is a new innate. He gains +1 movement speed for every 2.5 int to movement speed. Another weird stat scaling thing. Whenever he moves 300 distance, he leaves behind a light that allows him to see in 400 range for 3 seconds. Okay, so he can juke the shit out of you now, is what Kato can do. He goes through the trees, and then when you're chasing him, he can see you perfectly fine, and you can't see him. So he knows exactly how you're looking for him, and he can use that to run away. That's cool. That's actually a really cool innate. Chakra Magic cooldown rescaled. It's a little lower at max level, and the mana restoration got increased at early levels. Blinding Light cast range increased, and the knockback scales as well, in the way that other similar abilities do. Flame Break and Gust and such. Spirit Form no longer grants bonus movement speed, but it increases the movement speed bonus of Bright Speed by 50%. Okay, so it does give movement speed, but it just comes from a different source. And then a bunch of talent replacements. I'm not stressed about it. It sounds like they're kind of trying to push him as a bit more of a core now. One of the talents is plus 90 blinding light damage instead of the cooldown. And then at level 20, it used to be bonus chakra magic by 200. Now it's 10% solar mind magic resistance reduction. So, and I guess recall is just gone. I guess recall just is not here anymore. A rip to a real one. That's all I have to say. Yeah, it looks like they kind of like the idea of Caudal mid, and they're trying to push him a little bit more in that direction. Next up is Kez. Hold your breath. Don't do that. Actually, there's a lot of patch notes. Base movement speed decreased slightly. Base attack speed decreased slightly. Cooldown changed to scale with switch discipline. Grappling. Wait. Aghanim Scepter no longer restarts the alternative ability cooldown if it was already on cooldown. I don't know what that means. I'm going to ignore it. Grappling Claw. When targeting a tree, now always destroys the targeted tree and ends in the tree's position. Is that not how it worked before? Yeah, I guess it didn't destroy the tree. Okay. Get fucked, Monkey King players. Talon Toss. Cast range decreased by a lot. It used to be 1200. Now at level 1, it's only 650. Shodosai, which was solidly the worst of the two attack effects, now triggers a critical strike only instead of creating a mark. Now you get a 20% critical strike chance. Marks are applied only by parrying and casting Raven's Veil now, which is the ultimate in Psy form where he goes invisible. No longer restricts Kez from proccing passive bash spells. Wait, it did? You couldn't bash with Shodosai? I didn't know. I guess we're going to start seeing Basher on Kez. Interesting. I never even realized that. Mark stun duration increased as well. No longer has a parry bonus by default. And then the Aghanim Shard makes the parry create a stronger mark that will stun and give a crit bonus. Wait. Stun the target for an additional 0.2 seconds and a crit bonus of 50%. Come on, Valve. Raptor Dance no longer provides magic damage immunity. Good. Fucking hated that, dude. Raptor Dance is broken. It's such a broken ability. Level 25 talent, yeah, it's because you don't get the mark off attacks of Shodosai. It's now just an additional critical strike for the Shodosai crit chance. Okay, cool. Yeah, we might start seeing Basher Kez. I think this is good because the katana was so much better than the size that you would see him really only switch to size in order to use Talon Toss. I think by changing it over to make this like less of a Ruby Goldberg machine, there's just less hoops to jump through, and now also you can proc bash. Which is interesting. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think I ever saw a Kez go Basher before, so that we might start seeing that. Shodosai really does do a ridiculous amount of attacks, like individually, so this might be good. Kez needed a little bit of love, I think. Of course, there were going to be reworks to him. Light reworks, though. Slightly reworks, like Valve worded one hero we've seen so far. Conqueror. Admiral's Rum. No longer applied by multiple sources. Will not trigger passively if Ghost Ship already applied it. Okay. Just some number taps. I guess they thought he was too strong. Ghost Ship now applies Admiral's Rum at a 2x factor. Okay. Oh, okay. The 2 times only applies to duration, delay damage, and movement speed bonus. Not the duration. Wait, no, it does apply to duration. What? This should last 10 seconds? That's too long. Oh, well. Then a couple of different... Oh, and you can get a +1 Admiral's Rum buff duration. Largo is making eye contact with us from the bottom of the screen. Level 10 talent, you now have a +1 second Admiral's Rum buff duration, which gets multiplied. So you can get it for 12 seconds. Sheesh. Okay. Interesting. It puts a little bit more of Kunkka's power into his ultimate, as opposed to his innate being Admiral's Rum. I think this is overall a good change. If only Kunkka did damage. I still think he's a decent hero, though. Really, really strong lane. Largo. Alright, what'd they do to him? Do you regret putting him in Captain's mode now, Valve? Encore bonus duration changed from 10% to 9% +1 per level. Catchy Lick can now lick runes. Oh, isn't that from... there was like a Reddit post or something. Alright. Health regeneration decreased. Wait. Oh yeah, the health regeneration from dispelling stuff. And the bonus health regen is only... also provided if the target is killed by Catchy Lick. Oh, because you eat them? Is that the idea? Largo eats you? Dude, I hate looking at his freaky ability icon. I hate it so much. Aghanim Scepter no longer adds damage to double strumming with Amphibian Rhapsody. Thank God. Bullbelly Blitz now does magical damage by default. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Increases magic damage by 6, 12, 18 per Gruben stack when this song is used in double strumming. I think this is a nerf. Hot Feet Hustle movement speed decreased by a moderate amount. Slow resistance decreased by a small amount. Okay. Largo was a... I'm gonna talk a little bit about it. So, like, in this previous patch, Largo went from being like a meme offlaner because people were going Radiance. And then people realized, like, wait, if I just go Soul Ring Arcane Boots directly into Aghanim Scepter, I get basically all of the plus sides of Radiance because I'm able to sustain myself during ulti because I get my mana sources from items. So I'm just going to rush Aghanim Scepter, and that's fine. The problem is how the hero scaled because of his talents and the influence of Croak of Genius. This hero wound up doing so much damage to the point where you would be taking like 250 magical damage per second just for being near him. And the obvious answer is like, okay, just walk away. But he's faster than you. He has a metric shitload of slow resistance. All of that damage is coming on top of you, and he's healing himself. And if he didn't need to use that Hot Feet Hustle to get on top of you, he could then use Bull Belly Blitz instead, because he was healing the whole time no matter what, just so you can't heal him, or you can't kill him. And resetting his stacks like wasn't enough of an answer, because he could build them back up so fast. Largo his scaling was just absurd. It got to the point where he could like, if you were playing as a Chaos Knight or a Phantom Lancer, and I had games like this where you would get out-carried by a Largo, and like that's not, no. That should not be a part of the game. Like, Largo shouldn't be out-carrying dedicated single-target damage characters because they happen to have illusions. And even the characters that aren't illusion characters, you can still get out-carried by him. Like Luna, for example, you could kind of get out-carried by a Largo at a certain point, unless you had very dedicated tools to dealing with him. But, like, the answer for Largo should not be to use Fiend's Grip on him or, like, to pop Doom. Like, you shouldn't have to use those kinds of tools to deal with Largo. It's ridiculous how insanely well he scaled, to the point where it honestly felt like if you didn't end the game before 40 minutes, Largo was just going to take over entirely through a combination of his Aghanim Scepter and their effects, plus his talent, and all of the various tanking items that he would get, plus the auras. And remember that doesn't just impact Largo, it also impacts his entire team. Ugh. I did not like playing against Largo. I probably still won't. Largo himself is cool, and he's probably pretty fun to play. I haven't played him very much. But, like, good lord. Like, his scaling was just disgusting, dude. Disgusting. Legion Commander. Base armor decreased by 1. Outfight them. Her innate is reworked. Passively gives her bonus armor. Whenever she casts an ability, she gains the same amount as a stacking bonus. And she also gives it to allies with 50% of the value. Okay, cool. So she's an armor hero now, I guess. Kind of like Sven. Overwhelming Odds applies 100% movement slow upon dealing damage for 0.3 seconds and increases the radius by 100 with an Aghanim shard. Sorry, the movement slow happens innately, but if you get a shard, it increases the radius by 100 and grants the all damage barrier from Stonehall Plate. Okay, there you go. Press the attack. Multiple instances can now stack independently. When does that happen? Increases bonus movements. This is Aghanim Scepter. Increases bonus movement speed by 12%. Ability becomes cast point, affecting all allies in an AoE. She is always affected, even when outside the AoE. Okay, cool. So you get the AoE, press the attack. Yeah, it was a level 25 talent. No, it was a level 20 talent, I think. And now it gets +1 dual duration. Moment of Courage now automatically triggers after 7/6/5/4 attacks. Must be attacking and being attacked at the same time. The prepared state is kept indefinitely, and the cooldown went all the way down to 0.3 seconds, because now that's how it goes. Okay, so it works a little bit like Axe now, which is interesting, except you need to be both attacking and being attacked. So you can now aim it, I think, a little bit. It's a little bit difficult because of the amount of creeps, and it's difficult to be like, the 4 hits from creeps, target it. But yeah, cool. And then because it's 4 at max level, if you get to max level, you can tank a creep wave, and you're guaranteed every volley of incoming attacks, you'll get one of those off. So cool. This is good. These all feel like pretty good LC buffs. The nerfs to her scepter were oof. And then Aghanim Scepter upgrade reworked. It gives you the press the attack AoE, and then also when you win a duel, it's triggered around her. I guess she's centered at the middle of the AoE. Okay. Legion Commander can now use any abilities during duel. Alright. She will stop attacking as normal during cast animations. Items still cannot be used. They're going to take the next patch to just be like, fuck it, dude, you forgot to pop Blade Mail? Go ahead. I'm not super keen on that. LC is a character who, like, is not mechanically difficult in the first place. Requiring you to, like, do all of your chutzpah in the trees and then jump in, I always thought was a cool part of her hero. And it opened up opportunities to make mistakes in the process of punishing enemies for making mistakes. It felt a little bit more fair. Now it's a lot less fair. Because now, if they, like, do some kind of attack speed thing on you, you can now just press the attack and get rid of it. So, I'm not super keen on this, but it's okay. Level 25, press the attack, debuff immunity, replaced with dual refreshes cooldown on victory. Oh, baby. You know what I'm now picturing? I'm now picturing like Grimstroke, and you just chain that shit like hardcore. That's really funny. That's actually a really funny talent. Infinite duels. Infinite duels, baby. That's nice. And you have the level 20 talent that gives you the dual duration instead of the AoE press the attack, because you get it from Scepter now. LC sounds fun this patch. Probably pretty fun in Turbo, because you can reliably get to that 25 and have infinite duels. That's very good. Diabolic Edict. Duration improved. Oh, it's short, so it's the same damage, but it happens over a shorter amount of time. Number of explosions, hence total damage. I like how Valve did the additional tooltip here that still doesn't show up. They probably fixed it and I need to refresh the page, but I'm not doing that. Lich. Base mana regen decreased to -1. -1? You could have negative armor, but negative mana regeneration? Man. Intelligence gain decreased. Remove death charge. Fellas. Fellas, range creeps are back on the menu. Sacrifice. This is new innate. Instantly kill an allied creep to gain mana relative to its current health. Earn experience bounty for it. Holy moly. Ability starts on an extended cooldown and with no charges, making the first cast possible only at the 2-minute mark. They count as denies, providing experience to enemy heroes, so you gotta go back in the lane and do it before they get to the tower. Lich's experience gain is independent from experience enemies gained. Okay, so it's not shared. Man, Sacrifice is back. That's a funny way to do it. Cooldown 120 seconds is kind of insane. Getting rid of... Does this harm the original guide? Probably not. I guess you can go Arcane Boots on Lich now, and you probably... Maybe you do, I don't know. 42 plus 3% per level of their max HP. That means you're getting, like, what? 280 off of a melee creep the first time you use it? That seems good. Level 20 talent, Frost Shield duration replaced with 2 Frost Shield charges. Whoa. Bring a friend. Level 25 talent, Chain Frost incremental damage replaced with unlimited bounces. Okay, baby. The Lich we know and love, dude. Every Lich player is like pumping their fists right now. We got Sacrifice, we got Chain Frost unlimited bounces. That's what matters. That's all that matters in life. And it didn't break my tutorial series. Let's go. Thank you, Valve. Thank you very much, Valve. I guess well, it kind of did, because now it's like you need to sacrifice, but like, don't worry about it. It's fine. It's good enough. Oh, man. Awesome. Awesome. This is real. I feel very happy for the Lich fans. And they didn't mess with this bullshit. I guess the incremental damage not being there anymore makes it harder to do the Blink Shard combos, but still, this, I think they'll gladly change it for, gladly trade it in for Chain Frost Unlimited bounces. This is fun. This is fun. Thank you, Valve. Lifestealer. Base damage increased by 10. Base attack speed increased as well. Oh, did they get rid of Ghoul Frenzy? Okay, it's an innate. Oh, Feast, baby! Okay, so Ghoul Frenzy is now his innate. Gives him 5 bonus attack speed per level. This makes sense. The damage increased by 10 is nice. Feast is now a basic ability. The scaling is worse early, but better later. Remember that it used to scale off of his ulti. Now it's just, you put points in it, and Ghoul Frenzy is free. Do you still have the level 15 talent with the 50 attack speed? Oh, they got rid of it. No, the balanced level 15 talent where you just got 50 free attack speed is gone now. No, well, you can do it on open wounds targets. Nowhere near as good, though. It's not all the time. Feast is basic ability. Everything else is the same, pretty much. Yeah. Okay, cool. Oh, and Rage provides bonus movement speed. So when you respawn and you have to walk to lane because you're an idiot and you got killed as soon as you got in, or you got, well, if you have Rage available, you're never going to get glimpse back to Fountain. You're going to pop that shit instead. But yeah, now it is optimal to use Rage while farming between camps in order to move slightly faster. Hell yeah, dude. Between this and the Lich changes, it's 2018 all over again. Infest can now be used on Ancient Creeps by default. And then Aghanim Shard is the Gore Storm. Okay, cool. Kind of sucks, but whatever. No changes to his Ags or his ulti on that front. I don't know. Nothing particularly interesting in the talents aside from the change I mentioned earlier. The plus 50 attack speed now only applying on open wounds if you get the talent. Lena, removed combustion. Aw. Slow burn. Abilities deal an additional 64% damage as undispellable burn damage over 4 seconds. Is this a reference to something? That's a weird number. It makes me think that there's a reason it is that weird of a number. Was it just the easiest to balance around because they had to rescale the damage of all of her abilities? And then her Aghanim Shard is a Laguna Blade. It's her other facet. And you go up to 12 stacks. Okay, cool. Why is it 64? Did Slayers originally get written in 1964? The anime with the character Lena Inverse that this character is entirely based upon? That's the only thing I can think of. 64 is just such a weird number. I wonder why it's that. Nintendo, the big fans of Donkey Kong Country. Or wait, no, the Donkey Kong 64, I think. Country was the ones on the Game Boy. I never liked the Donkey Kong games. I thought they were bad. Not a whole lot of interesting stuff. Level 25 talent, the crit is now, instead of affected by spells, which was always such a weird thing, is now affected by slow burn. And then slow burn duration is the alternative. Okay. Very clear still. This makes me think that with Lena, you kind of get to have your cake and eat it too. You could there probably is potential for like a hybrid build now, where you go shard and right click, but you're still focusing a lot on dealing your damage with magic just because of the undispellable burn damage. This is a considerable, I mean, this is just a fat damage buff too, because looking at the amount of damage that they decreased everything by, they didn't decrease things proportional to the 64 damage increase. These sound like really big Lena buffs, honestly. Yeah, Lena up big, I think. Now when I when I roll Q and I somehow get mid because that roll sucks and no one likes it, now, at least at high MMRs, now I can pick Lena instead of Zeus. Hooray! Lion. To hell and back. Ability reworked. Killing or assisting in a kill gives him 20% debuff duration when that hero is dead. When he respawns, he gets 20% spell amp for 90 seconds or until he gets a kill or an assist. Okay, so it goes away after that. So they got rid of the punch. Fuck the punch. Fuck the punch. Finger of Death, cooldown decrease. Oh, wait, no. Damn it. I was talking shit and he was standing right behind me. The cooldown decreased on Finger by 10 seconds at all levels, probably necessary. Damage per kill decreased. And now he has the punch all the time. He just forever has the punch. These melee attacks have 25% cleave and deal 40 bonus damage, which increases with each Finger of Death kill. Man, that sucks. Ability can be toggled to disable the melee form. Well, now that I have it, I'm not going to turn it off. That's pussy shit. That's so funny, dude. That's so stupid. Oh my god. The Lion Punch is now canon. Misery. Misery for us all. Lone Druid attack projectile speed increase. That's it. That's all you had to say, Valve. Man. Easier to get chain rooted. I had to play against Lone Druid Clockwork once this patch as an offlane, and I was playing as Luna, and I literally got fucking reamed, dude. I couldn't do shit. It was like laning against the 08 Steelers. I like had no idea what I was even supposed to do. Yeah, man. Just Troy Polamalu bear running at my ass. Luna. Lunar Blessing. Damage scaling changed. Bonus night vision changed. Lunar Orbit now provides, it used to be 30% damage reduction, now it's only 20, but you get it for free. Aghanim Shard increases, okay, cool. Oh, and you get bonus movement speed, so it's kind of the way that her shard used to be. So it increases the damage reduction up to 30, as it was before, and then also gives 20% bonus movement speed. Does it still have the increased rotation and damage increase on Lunar Orbit as well? If it does, it's probably pretty good. If it's only this, it's probably not worth it, and Luna might be bad. But if it still has that, that might be the thing that makes Luna still good. Talents, Lucent Beam cooldown at level 20, replaced with 1.5 times Lunar Orbit damage speed. Oh, I guess that's where it is. And then level 25, the Lunar Blessing damage talent got reduced. I think the other one is better. I mean, having 60 free damage is good on a hero like that. But they took it down to plus 30-60 to 25-50 instead. So a small decrease, but notable. Okay. This might be bad. This might be the thing that pushes Luna into kind of bad territory. And then Moonstorm is just gone entirely. Like, there's no element of Moonstorm still in the game. So, yeah, this is like kind of a significant Luna nerf. That makes me a little sad. I was having fun playing her last patch. She's another hero that is like never meta. And she still wasn't, but Valve nerfed her anyway. Lycan. Apex Predator. Damage to neutrals changed. Scaling changed. Summon wolves. They got rid of the shard that summons the wolf in the lane. Increases the number of wolves by 1 and grants them Hightail ability. This is with shard. Activated to give them 100% evasion, bonus attack speed, and hasty movement. Okay, so this is the Alpha Wolves minus the BKB piercing stun. Still, or maybe it was a root, whatever. It lasted like 0.2 seconds anyway, but like, damn. Shapeshift now grants controlled units movement speed and critical strike bonuses. Did it not already? Oh, wait. I know it affected the wolves. If you had a Helm of the Dominator creep, did it not affect them? Huh. Okay, so now you can have a Hellbear that crits. Awesome. Plus 2 wolves summoned at level 25, replaced with minus 25% summon wolves bat. Okay. I'm gonna miss the shard. The shard was like a really funny part of Lycan, because it was basically a farming item. Because you got the gold whenever it killed a random ass lane creep, and it would do that pretty often for the rest of the entire game. Oh well, what can you do? All good things must come to an end. We had that thing for years. It was so funny. It came out and people were confused. Magnus. Solid core. That's his innate. That gives him, I think, knockback resistance. No longer levels. Slow resistance rescaled as well. Okay, that's fine. Now always affects Magnus. This is Empower. Always affects him with 30% increased values and can't be cast on himself. Okay. There is even less excuse to not use Empower on your teammates. Skewer, Aghanim Shard bonus distance increased slightly. And that's, and then level 25, you can get the Shockwave returning to Magnus. I was about to say that is just gone now, and it is as a facet, but you can get it at 25, where it probably isn't that good. That's fine. That's fine. I think the other one is like RP stun duration or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, this is a Magnus nerf, but Magnus needed a bit of a nerf, but also it makes Empower more interesting. Okay. Yeah, it's fine. Marcy, special delivery. This is her snap the finger. Waiter, a BKB recipe, please. If Marcy's courier is in the fountain when special delivery is cast, it takes all items from the stash before teleporting. Oh, could you summon it without it taking your items? Because if so, that's really funny. It will automatically attempt to transfer items and head back to the fountain. If it has any extra items after trying to transfer or didn't transfer any items, it will stay next to Marcy. Okay, so you can put stuff on it if you want. And cooldown change from 4 minutes to now 245 minus 5 seconds per level. Okay. Yeah, sure, whatever. Bodyguard. Ability reworked. Passive and active components. Gives her the lifesteal and bonus base attack. Cast on an ally that gets 75% of those. And an all damage barrier. Okay, but it's a shared barrier. Interesting. So if you damage Marcy, it'll also damage the barrier on the other target. 30% of the damage dealt by Marcy restores the barrier. Can it go above the 300 max? That'd be interesting. Cast range 500. This actually sounds really good. 300 damage, and you can repair it with the damage that Marcy does. If you can't instantly burst it, and Marcy's an ulti, she can just smack. If it can go above the immediate starting value, that's actually kind of insane. But it's written as restores the barrier, so I'm not 100% sure. If you can go above the 300, it's probably really, really good, actually. The effect is dispellable. Dispelling Marcy will remove the barrier. Dispelling the target will remove both the barrier and the passive bonuses. Ouch. Alright, well if you're going to dispel it, dispel the target, not Marcy. Rebound. Ability can be set to alt cast to bring the target ally to the destination. Oh, so Pick Me Up just works, so she just has it. Okay, cool. This is a very good facet. Her defensive tools now are like kind of nuts between this bodyguard, if I understand it correctly, and then rebound. Huh. Bodyguard strong dispels at level 25. That's crazy. That's really good. Wow. Okay. Mars. Dauntless. No longer considers Mars allies when determining if Mars is outnumbered. What? So you're just always outnumbered as long as there's more than one guy? Alright. HP regen per extra enemy decreased from 70% to 40%. Bulwark is now a point-targeted ability. He will face the targeted direction when toggled on. As long as you can still moonwalk, that's fine. And they got rid of the Bulwark upgrade with Aghanim Scepter, where not Stonehall guys. I always mix up Mars and Legion's boys. the Ash Legion pull up and poke people. It's probably for the best that they got rid of that. Arena of Blood is now upgraded instead. Lowers cooldown by 10 seconds and makes it 6.5 seconds long. Sheesh. If an enemy is killed in the arena, Mars and his allies inside restore 35% of max health and get a 35% attack damage buff. This effect stacks. Holy moly. Fun fact, the term holy moly comes from the animal, the mole, and it digs holes. The moly digs the holy. Yeah, this sounds good. This sounds really good. Yeah, that's all I have to say. I don't think you go Ags traditionally, but if your entire game plan is built around putting enemy heroes in the cock crusher, yeah, it's probably good. Kind of nuts. Kind of nuts. Ducey's Gorgon Grasp got the cooldown decreased slightly at later levels. Now always centers the cast cursor around the second grouping, even if the number of volleys is increased. Okay. Okay. What is this like? Does that matter? I guess it makes it slightly more awkward to cast, if anything. A lot of talent changes. So Stone Gaze bonus physical damage increased slightly. Okay, just number buffs, I think. Oh, they got rid of Undulation. My secret sauce. No. I'll never get to talk about it again, so I'll just say it now. My secret sauce on Medusa, which I shadow dropped in a previous tier list, I cannot tell you which one, is you go Undulation on Medusa, and then you go Mjolnir Aghanim Scepter, and then you skip Manta entirely, and then you go Butterfly Scotty Daedalus, or no, you would go Mjolnir Ags. So you would go Mjolnir directly into Ags. The original prototype of the build, you actually wouldn't build the Mjolnir. You would have the Maelstrom and the Hyperstone, and you wouldn't buy the recipe. So you'd be walking around with like a Maelstrom, a Hyperstone, a Magic Wand, a Null Tally, and a Blade of Alacrity in your inventory. That's all you had in a Quelly Blade. That would be your inventory as Medusa. It looked ugly as shit, but it was actually really good. And if you're up against Zoo heroes, you know, it allowed you to basically counter PL because you were immune to slows. He would pop diff on you and you just walk away. And you're like, okay, have fun, dude. A lot of heroes with situations like that where Undulation allows you to counter the slow as a result of Diffusal, so you could kind of counter the counter. And then also PL specifically, it was a massive counter to that because you're going Mjolnir Ag's first item, and if he runs it, he dies. Not really anything interesting that I see here. Yeah. They kind of just cut out all of her facets, didn't they? Huh. Yeah. Yeah, that sucks, because you don't get Undulation, you don't get Venomous Volley, and then you also don't get Engorged. Wow. But he's got nerfed. Hard. Okay. I didn't even think she was good. No, well, it might, you know. 7.42. She'll stand a chance. Meepo no longer has sticky fingers, removed his base movement speed. Geomancy is now his innate, can't be leveled up, stacking bonuses to himself and his clones based on their terrain? Val, you tried this with Brewmaster like 4 years ago. Cut the shit out, dude. It's longer than that. I think it was like pre-COVID. If there's a tree within 250 range, he receives... What the fuck is this? He receives plus 1 HP regen. If he's on solid ground, he receives 2% bonus movement speed. If he's in the water, his attack's slow. Each Meepo can only provide 1 tree bonus. If there's a tree in the water... What is this? Dude, this is boof. If there's a tree in the water, Meepo will provide both water and tree bonuses. Ransack pierces debuff immunity, no longer has separate creep values. Follows global lifesteal rules instead. Divided we stand reworked. Alright. Max level increase from 3 to 4, equivalent to what he had with the facet. Level requirement rescaled. He can now get it at level 3. So you're going to do the thing again where you hold your level 2 point until you can get a point in your ulti and then also a point in poof. No longer passively grants magic resistance. Each duplicate copies all of Meepo's items, but they share their cooldowns. What? Damage, attack speed, health, mana, regen, mana burn, and proc chance bonuses from items are distributed equally among the amount of Meepos. Clones can't use consumable shared items. No longer has a penalty for strength, agi, or int. Clones no longer gain 30% experience independently. Meepo gains 100% of the experience from hero kills or assists as long as one Meepo is in range. All other experience gained by Meepo is divided by the number of Meepos. Wait, so there is no more Meepo Prime. Is that what I understand? If there's no Meepo Prime, and they share cooldowns. That sounds like a pretty significant buff. I guess he lost his prior innate. I don't know. This is weird because now what he can do is he can like Mega Meepo. He can chuck one of the Meepos at you, and that Meepo can like diff blade you or whatever. It doesn't have to be Meepo Prime anymore doing the diff blading. Any of them can blink on you now. Also, that seems kind of crazy. Is this not nuts? This seems insane to me. I don't know. Meepo sounds like he's up huge mungus in this patch, but maybe there's something I don't understand. I hope there is. This sounds nuts. Mirana. We're halfway through the hero list. Did you know? Did you know that Mirana is the halfway point through the hero list? I do. Mirana removes Summon's faithful innate ability. Celestial Quiver. I was going to make a bad joke there. New innate ability, auto attack, it's an auto cast attack modifier. Consumes a charge to empower her next attack with bonus magic damage equal to 3 times Mirana's level. At the start, she has 2, but gains 1 more every 7 levels. Okay. So you get up to 6. Base charge restore times 6. You get Shard. Leap provides you 3 temporary charges. And they ignore the max charge count and stack from each cast. I thought about, honestly, including Mirana in the carry tier list that I did in the previous patch. By the previous patch, I mean earlier today. Though I recorded it the night before. This, I think Mirana is maybe a carry now. Legit. They did remove the level 20 talent that gave you base damage in favor of the Celestial Quiver damage, which probably isn't great. And you still have to buy a farming item in the form of a Maelstrom. But, this might actually be the thing that pushes Mirana into being a dedicated position 1. It would be fun to play. And she has a good lane, because of Leap. Aghanim Shard no longer gives you crits during the buff, but Celestial Quiver is, enough reliable damage, and reliable damage is better. Mirana might be a more legit position 1 in the current patch. She might even be a very legit position 1. I think I need to see it in action. 6-second charge restore time kind of sucks, but you can use that to harass in lane very consistently. What's the mana cost? Or maybe it just doesn't have one. That'd be even cooler. Okay, another short break, and we'll come back for the second half of the heroes. Alright. Is it just me, or do these patch notes feel longer than 7.40? I don't know, maybe I'm crazy. I'm crazy. I'm stupid. Monkey King. They broke his legs. I wish. Mischief no longer levels with Wukong's command. Cooldown scales based on level. Tree Dance cast point increased to 0.2. Good. Cast range, perched tree cast range increased slightly. Cooldown decreased down to 0 seconds at level 4. Cool. Leap speed decreased. Leaping between trees can now be interrupted by roots and leashes. It was previously only interrupted by stunned, hidden, or hex statuses. Okay, cool. Wukong's command, I first off don't like this, but increasing the cast point does a lot to mitigate the insane cooldown being 0. Oh my god. Wukong now has changing of the guard sub-ability by default. I really hated that facet. I was hoping they would take it out. That's the thing that allows him to swap positions with one of the stone soldiers and disguise himself. While Wukong's command is active, he gains it. Yeah, it's just the facet, but changed. Cooldown 3 seconds. Cast point 0.3. Level 20 talent, 0 cooldown Primal Spring replaced with Jingu Mastery Undispellable. And they move the 0 cooldown Primal Spring to level 15. And you can get the Tree Dance cast range up. You know, this sounds like it would be slight nerfs to position 4 Monkey King, maybe, by increasing the cast point, but even then it doesn't, I'm not really entirely sure. Giving him changing of the guard for free, though, is something I don't like. I was really hoping they were going to remove it entirely, but what can you do? Morphling, this hero is trash. Hero model size now scales on his agi strength ratio. Nice. That rules. So when he's full agi, is he just like a pea pod now? What happens? And if he's full strength, is he tiny level 18? I don't know. Ebb and Flow, new innate ability passive. Strength and agi give him additional bonuses. Cast range and slow resistance, buffed by strength. Attack range movement speed, increased by agility. These bonuses are provided even while replicating, except for the extra attack range, which is not provided when replicating a melee unit. Interesting. Strength to cast range, 20%. Strength to slow resistance, 20%. Add you to movement speed 15%, add you to ranged attack 20%. Okay. And they didn't take anything away to try to compensate for that. So Morphling was genuinely like a boo-boo hero. Like, he was so bad. And they changed his innate, which also kind of didn't do anything. It gave him levels betwixt the levels. So this is good. Waveform cast range decreased slightly at top levels. Base damage increased on adaptive strike. Okay. Morphling needed a lot of help. And this probably is the help that he needed. This is very interesting. And this is a lot. Like, it's just a ton of nice bonus stats. And Morphling, of course, obviously just gets a ridiculous amount of stats. And then he gets bonuses from all of those. So this is good. And then also the hero model size. That's the thing I'm really excited about. By the way, in the previous break, I got another tiny spoiler. Apparently, whatever they did to techies is fucked up. So you can go ahead and skip ahead to that and come back here. You'll be on the M's. Almost on the ends. Muerta, supernatural. Whenever an enemy hero dies near her, she gets a stack of spell amp up to a maximum equal to her current level. When she dies, she loses half the stacks, rounded down. Oh, so she is galvanized, but for spell amp? Okay, sure. Passive ethereal bonuses move to pierce the veil. Okay, cool. No longer provides bonus damage, and instead grants plus 75% base damage, and it has a passive component where she can always attack it. Okay, so her innate is still there. Don't buy a Ghost Scepter against Muerta, or she gonna do you dirty in front of your squad. Lifesteal conversion happens only for attacks and won't affect your spells. Wait. Okay. Remember what I was talking about earlier today? If you watch that carry tier list, Blade Mail is a catch-all answer because Muerta cannot buy Satanic. Now she can buy Satanic. This is good. All of her attack damage is dealt as magical damage, and her physical lifesteal is treated as spell lifesteal. This is huge for the hero. Being able to pop Satanic and deal with Blade Mails solves Muerta's biggest problem as a position 1. This is great. Thank you, Valve. Very elegant way of doing it as well. Spectral Slug is a new ability granted by Shard. Shoots a spectral bullet at the enemy. It's like an E-Blade that knocks them back. Yeah, it's an E-Blade that knocks them back and also increases their magic damage vulnerability. Cool. It's just like a sort of I pick you sort of thing. They did remove her level 15 talent that gives her plus 55 gunslinger damage, which was awesome, and replaced it with 15 end. That kind of sucks. But, and Pierce the Veil no longer, well, the numbers are going to be a little bit fuzzier than they were before, but I think this is overall a really meaningful buff from Muerta, and she needed it. So this is good. This is great. Thank you, Valve. Naga. This is another hero that was cheeks. Eel Skin provides evasion for Naga Siren on her own. This was the thing where when she's near illusions of herself, she gains stacking evasion. Evasion per Naga changed. So now it scales. Riptide is now always a basic ability for Naga Siren. Deluge, Rip, Pack Watch. And then some talent changes. Seems like some small buffs. Cool. Yeah, this is good. This is good. Naga needed some help. I don't entirely know if this is enough. I really don't think it's enough, actually, but it's still nice to see a little bit of buffs. Naga isn't terrifying to Valve as much as she was. Speaking of terrifying heroes, here comes Nature's Prophet. In control. Women dig his stuff and his gallant stroll. Minimum base damage increased by 4. Stop. Spirit of the Forest. No longer levels with Wrath of Nature. Tree radius rescaled. This is the thing that gives him bonus damage when he's near trees. And the multiplier per treant has increased. They used to count as trees, now they count as 2 trees. Sprout Vision increased, sure, why not? Nature's Call got buffed. Oh, the treants have magic resistance now. Cool. They also deal bonus damage to enemy heroes. That matters. And they have free pathing through trees. That's funny. You know, I wouldn't mind if Nature's Prophet came back with a bigger emphasis on the treants themselves. And that is like a monkey's paw thing. Because then we remember Ironwood Tree? Remember that shit? Glad that's not in the game anymore. But Nature's Prophet, this doesn't hurt his ability to just right-click the shit out of you, so, I don't know. Level 15 talent change from Facet Specific to plus 100 Teleportation Barrier. And then, yeah. Okay, cool. Big buffs for the trees. Nature's Prophet's trees were pretty ass and have been ass for years, so giving them some buffs is nice. I would just like to see more emphasis put on the trees rather than his right clicks if they're going to go this route, because I don't want him to have both. Necrophos. Sadist, no longer levels with Reaper Scythe. Scales with the levels. Ghost Shroud Restoration Amplification increased. Up to 85% at max level. It was up from 70. That's good. Self-restoration amp replaced with plus 75 spell AoE. Oh yeah, because he doesn't have the facet anymore. That gives him increased spell AoE depending on how many status stacks he has. And you don't get to steal people's movement speed anymore. That sucks. Level 25. Yes, the dog shit talent that everyone takes. Get the Death Pulse cooldown anyway. Plus 0.3 Reaper Sight damage per health missing is good. I think that brings it up to like, what, 1.4? Which is pretty crazy. But at the same time, I still think you should go the Death Pulse cooldown because it's crazy good. Removing this talent is absolutely not a problem, though. This talent was a total trap, and I'm glad they got rid of it. Night Stalker. Removed Heart of Darkness, innate. Hunter in the Night is now his innate. Okay. Oh, he has a new ability. Look at this. Now an innate ability for Hunter in the Night. Upgraded with Aghanim Scepter to increase bonus movement speed and attack speed. And killing an enemy resets cooldowns. Okay, cool. That's kind of nice. One of the things that Night Stalker used to have a while ago is whenever it became night, all of his skills would refresh their CDs. So you would pop all your shit, and then you would use your ulti to make it night forcibly, and then you would have all your shit again. So you kind of had like a free refresher shard kind of situation going on. Now that's tied to your Aghanim Scepter, but it also gives Hunter in the Night big stat bonuses, which is cool. Now his shard, the AoE Void is now his shard. Okay, cool. So he no longer has the crippling fear that can be permanent, which is probably good. That shit was a little too busted, but also really hard to get. Midnight Feast is a new basic ability. Has both passive and active components. He heals himself by a little bit when attacking enemy units, so a possessed mask style of lifesteal, and attacks on allied units and buildings will not heal him. You can cast it at night to eat a non-ancient creep and restore 25% of max health and 16% of mana. No mana cost, cast range 125, max level, cooldown is 30 seconds, can't be cast on allies. Okay. That was literally the first thought in my head was like, not only did Lich get sacrificed, but Night Stalker got it too. But no, sadly you can't do that. This is cool. They basically gave him his shard that everyone liked and went every game and just made it a basic ability and moved Hunter in the Night to an innate. Heart of Darkness as an innate was like shitty, so cool. This is good. Then just sort of a reset thing of talents, and then you can get a flat additional lifesteal on Midnight. Wait, level 25 you can get plus 100 Midnight Feast. That's kind of crazy. That seems really good. And you can increase the radius of Crippling Fear, and you can get AoE bonus items now. Do you go Shiva's? Do you go Shiva's Night Stalker? Might be kind of swag. Yeah. Night Stalker sounds fun this patch. Cool. And you can farm at night. Not that you want to. It'd be way better if you could do this during the day, but do what you can. Nyx. Removed Nyx Sense. That makes me sad. I always thought it was funny. This was the thing where he had True Sight in a very tiny radius around him that only affected heroes. I always thought that was really funny to just like find a Ricky just like walking around and it's like, what up, dude? Mana Burn is now his innate. Whenever he deals damage with attacks or abilities, he burns mana equal to 12% of damage dealt. Damage reflected by Spike Carapace also counts. Interesting. Mind Flare now also burns. Okay, they diversified the mana burn on Nyx Assassin. He still counters Medusa. Vendetta now also applies a 4-second break on hit by default. And then Shard decreases the cooldown and gives him the haste and unobstructed pathing for the first 15 seconds. Okay. It's probably the same. Giving him the break on hit is nice. I think that's good. Having more sources of break just sort of in the game by default is good. I think maybe we're kind of approaching the point where there's maybe a little bit too much, but it's okay. Fuck Bristle, and fuck those who pick him. Ogre Magi, Fire Blast. Fire Blast becomes Refined Fire Blast when you pick up an Aghanim Scepter, reducing its cooldown by 1 second and increasing its cast speed. Do you still get Unrefined? You do. Okay, so it splits Fire Blast up into Refined and Unrefined. Multicast. Each point of strength increases chances of multicast by 0.0625. Every 16 strength points adds 1. Thank you, Valve. My NA math skills are not up to the task. This is good, though. This is good. Yeah. They kind of just, he no longer has learning curve, which is probably for the best. That talent was not necessarily healthy or fun to play with, except for the very brief moment in the game where he becomes a level 3 hero at level 2. Outside of that, like, minute and a half, it really wasn't fun to play as or with. And it also made rune fights stupid. So, cool. Yeah, bunch of talent changes. I don't think they're too impactful. Nothing too crazy. Level 25 talent. Replace the Fire Blast damage with plus 10% multicast chance. That's a little silly. And then you also have the built-in multicast scaling off of strength, so the odds are up there too. So super late game scenarios, Ogre Magi is much more likely to multicast. Cool. Omni, what they do to this buster. Base armor decreased by 1. He's literally taking all the damage. Agility gain also decreased slightly. Degen Aura scales with his level. Purification now pierces debuff immunity on enemies. Okay. I didn't even know that it didn't. Feels weird that it didn't. Repel, cooldown decreased. The cooldown of that ability was insane. No longer gives the benefits of debuffing people. It just gives a flat HP regeneration now. Okay, cool. One of the funny things, and I got to do this a couple times, is you play as Omni Knight against like a Venomancer, and so you get hit by like Urn, 3 different debuffs, and then you slap Repel on someone, and then they just have like a Heart of Tarask and like 8,000 HP. It was so funny. Hammer of Purity no longer it now pierces debuff immunity. Once again, didn't know it didn't. Cooldown decreased back down to 4 seconds. Bonus base damage decreased. Damage decreased. Now heals Omni for 30% of the damage. You know, it's fun when I pick him. I think Hammer of Purity should only exist for me, and no one else should get to pick it. Because playing against that is the worst thing ever. But playing as it is like, hooray! You're like that little German kid drinking cola and un drink cola? Yippee! He's trying to play Fortnite. Guardian Angel now is a no target ability. The effect is applied in an aura centered around Omni that follows him with no linger. Duration decreased significantly. Wow. At level 3, it went from 7 seconds to 5. Radius increased significantly, and then the Aghanim Scepter rework is global, affects buildings, amplifies health restoration by 100. Okay, fine. Level 20, you get a Degen Aura Radius talent, which is pretty cool. Yeah, that's it. That's it. It's fine. He's probably, in a weird way, despite all these changes, he probably works out to be the same. Yeah. I think reducing his armor is a little bit better, but hey, whatever. Oracle, Prognosticate. Oracle now also predicts Roshan's exact respawn timer. So what's TA do now, huh? False Promise, no longer upgraded with Aghanim Scepter. Used to make you constantly dispelled, I think. Diviner's Deck. Oracle receives a Tarot card buff now and every 90 seconds. Buff is undispellable and lasts until the next one replaces it. Oracle knows which buff will be next. You have Death, which is 40% spell amp. The Fool, which is 100% gold gain. The World, which is 150% intelligence. The Lovers, which is 40% health amplification, AO. And then the Tower, which grants a 400 all damage barrier, which regenerates after not taking damage for 7 seconds. All of these sound broken. Like, the worst sounding one is the Int. And, like, that's not that big of a deal. I'm pretty sure the way that Purifying Flames works is, like, the spell amp doesn't buff the heal. So you could get Death and then just, like, spam it, and it probably works out to be not that bad. As long as you eventually purge it, you know. Huh. Fascinating. I don't know if this is good or not. It's really hard to get an Aghanim Scepter as Oracle, and a lot of these just kind of buff Oracle himself, except for the health amplification, and I guess gold gain is cool. The idea of, like, getting the Fool and, like, immediately being like, step aside, carries. Oracle is here to raise our team's net worth is pretty funny. And it's called the Fool, too, so Valve is clearly aware how silly it is. This is cool. I'm sure that there's some way to break it in some wacky-ass way. But mostly I'm just curious what TAs and ADAs now. Outworld Destroyer. Base agility decreased by 5. Base armor decreased by 1. Removed OD innate. They didn't even bother to name it. If you didn't know... Oh, he has a new ability. If you didn't know, OD... he had an innate, the name of which changed all the time. So, like, every time you moused over it, it would be a different combination of, like, 2 words that started with O and D. It's a cool little thing. Essence Flux is now an innate. The max mana restore now depends on the ability it procced on. Okay, so it doesn't give you as much back for using Q. Objurgation. Valve, shut the fuck up. What do you mean, objurgation? I'm a rather sesquipedalian and loquacious individual, and I've never in my goddamn life heard the word objurgation. Oh my god. New basic ability increases max mana by some, can be activated to create an all damage barrier equal to a flat amount plus 12% of OD's max mana. Good size cooldown, duration 10 seconds. Can be dispelled, multiple instances stack. Alright. Increases max mana to barrier by 4%. That brings it up to 16%. This is with Aghanim Scepter. Increases the total, and damage that would bring him below 20% is prevented, triggering a strong dispel and an automatic instance of undispellable objurgation. The effect cannot trigger more than once every 80 seconds, but refreshes on death. You know, I hated OD Ags so much that the fact that they've made it a basic part of his kit makes me mad, dude. It makes me freaking mad. I don't like it. Ugh. Ascendity's Eclipse, cooldown decreased by a little bit at early levels. Radius decreased by a little bit at later levels. Okay, sure, whatever. Not really any particularly interesting other things. At level 20, you can get an Objurgation cooldown talent instead of the 450 HP, which is probably good. It's fine. At level 20, you can also get the 10% Astral Imprison mana capacity steal, which sounds good. Hit him with the dumb stick, except the dumb stick is no longer the dumb stick. It's just damage. It used to be that you could steal people's max mana by hitting them with your Q, but that is no longer the case. Pangolier, what'd they do? Buttered biscuits? Swashbuckle's slow duration increased slightly. Well, from 0.4 to 0.6. Shield crash damage increased by 10 and the scaling increased. So it went from 50 to 200 to 60 to 240. That means something. Lucky Shot armor reduction decreased. Okay. Rolling Thunder stun duration increased to 1.2 at all levels. That's the value we used to have at level 3. Okay. Polite buffs for Pangolier. Not quite enough, I think, to make him a good hero. Probably not playable. Quinn retired at a good time, so Quinn required. Phantom Assassin. Blur doesn't level with ulti. Vanish radius rescaled. Active movement speed changed to scale. Vanish buffer rescaled. That's it. PA was like a pretty poop hero. It's kind of weird to me. That's yeah, that's weird. I thought they were gonna buffer and they didn't. Okay. Phantom Lancer, a hero that I thought they were going to nerf, and they're not going to. Illusory Armaments, min damage increase changed from 2% per 3 level ups to 2% for 3 levels. This means 2 things. Bonus damage increases 1 level earlier, and Phantom Lancer will gain 1 more damage increase on level 30. They buffed him? Did they buff PL? Why'd they do that? Why'd they do that? I guess they added all the AoE items, which means that Leshrac is happy, so I guess that works out. That was weird, man. I don't know why they buffed him. PL is still pretty good. Phoenix, remove Blinding Sun. Thank fuck. Dying Light. Okay, that's the one that they gave him. It's the missing damage becomes a AoE tick around him. Yeah, okay. Sure. Of the 2 facets, if I had to pick one to keep, I definitely would have picked Dying Light. I'm glad Valve agreed with me. Primal Beast. Colossal is the thing that gave him bonus damage against buildings for some reason. I assume it no longer does that now. Instead, it gives him 10% base slow resistance, and he gains area of effect and slow resistance per health. All right. I talked earlier about wacky-ass scaling mechanics off of movement speed and intelligence, and now we're converting max HP to slow resistance and area of effect. Sure, dude. Why not? Pulverize, AoE radius decreased. Slightly. Okay. And then you can get double the Colossal bonuses during Trample at level 25 with a talent. That seems pretty good. Maybe not as good as being immune to slows and roots, but hey. Yeah, Primal Beast I already thought was like okay. I don't know if you guys have seen the refresher build on him with Aghanim Scepter, but like holy moly. I've seen people get heated in pubs over that. I haven't played it myself, but I've played with a guy who like does that. That's like his thing, is he plays Primal Beast and he goes Axe Refresher and he 1v5s, then it's crazy. Takes a long time to get there, but once you get there, you're there. Puckish. Health mana restore rescaled. Spell dodge multiplier decreased. Okay. Illusory Orb now has the curved vector targeting by default. Similar to the Grimstroke ink thing, you can put it in all cast to launch it straight. Speed increased significantly. Wow. 550 to 750. Wow. And now additionally deals 3% of the orb's impact damage every 0.5 seconds in its AoE. So you can kill range creeps for longer into the game, I think. It already had a little bit of that before, but now it's a default aspect, and I think they changed the number. I think that's a buff. Yeah, I like when Puck is good. Sure. Pudge, Flesh Eat, no longer levels with Dismember, scales based. Wait, permanent bonus strength rescaled. So now it's just 1.6. Okay, his ceiling got lowered on Pudge. And Rot no longer has a separate value for incoming heal reduction. Okay. Pugna, base movement speed decreased. Still a fast little bastard. Oblivion Savant increases Pugna's spell amp by 1.5% per destroyed tower. Nice. Netherward damage source changed from Netherward to the caster. Okay, that matters for directional stuff, like Bristleback. Queen of Quap. Scream of Pain damage increased by a somewhat significant amount. It's now up to 345, but 25% of the damage dealt is reflected back to her. Also applies to her ulti. 25% of the damage dealt to heroes. Okay. Level 20 talent Scream of Pain damage increased as well, but very slightly. Okay, tiny buffs to Queen of Pain. I think these are buffs. It just sort of reflects the lack of spell amp that she can get from the facet that she picks now, so this is fair. Probably still have to buy some form of spell lifesteal, but I think you have some new options for that now. The Queen of Pain default build might change this patch, but that's a good thing. Razor. Static Link damage drain rate increased. Okay, they made Static Link do more. No longer upgraded by Aghanim Shard. Storm Surge with Aghanim Shard, the strike chance is twice as high. Strike cooldown decreased by 2 seconds. Okay, so it's Thunderhead? Was that the one? His facet? Now that's his shard. Okay, but they removed it by default. That sounds like a decent nerf for Razor. And then a lot of it was the items on Razor, not so much Razor himself. Taking away his 10% spell lifesteal at level 10 is meaningful. The armor is not the same. And then the level 20 Storm Surge talent also got... Oh no, it actually got buffed. Cool. Okay, the problem with Razor in the previous patch was really the items. And they've taken steps to reduce the impact of the items. I guess not so much Guardian Greaves, but definitely Crimson Guard. He's kind of weird. I think he might wind up buying that, maybe not Consecrated Wraps, because he needs some kind of mana regeneration off of some of his early item builds, or otherwise he just has to guzzle down Clarities. Yeah, I think it's okay. I think he's fine. He sort of got indirectly nerfed, and a lot more of his damage is being put on Static Link now, and having to buy Shard for Storm Surge means you don't have to put up with it nearly as much in the lane. That initial pop of his ulti, because he doesn't have Thunderhead anymore, isn't going to be quite as impactful. So this is good. This is good. I think he might still be playable, though. They definitely didn't nerf him into the ground. They didn't do what I thought they were going to do, which is they hit him with rocks until he dies. Yeah, he'll be alright, this Razor hero. He'll be alright. Ricky. Agility multiplier changed on Backstab. Did scale like the other ones. Mana cost on Smokescreen is now 75 at all levels. Miss rate rescaled to be better early and worse late, but only slightly so. Blink Strike slow duration increased. Nice. And Tricks of the Trade with Aghanim Scepter, cast range got increased. Used to get 300, now he gets 500. That's fine. I still don't think Ricky is like a good carry, but I think mid Ricky is good, and his later level stuff kind of got buffed. So this is good. He benefits a little bit more from XP than he did before. Losing out on the facets is a little tough for him, but he'll be alright. Alright, we're going to restart Ringmaster, and the reason why I'm restarting my analysis is because when I saw that they maintained Unicycle in the Dark Carnival Barker pool, I clapped so hard it scared my cat, and I was worried it might disturb you if it came in the video. I'm doing the thing where I point my fingers and press them together. Ringmaster, Pool of Souvenirs now always is the Mirror, the Strength Buff, Potion, Whoopee Cushion, and Unicycle. This is good. I loved the Unicycle. I was so excited I restarted part of the video. The targeted unit is no longer stunned for 0.5 seconds when placed in the Escape Act box, which is good. And AoE bonuses affect the stuff from Aghanim Scepter. Impalement Arts looks like it got reworked a little bit. Always 3 charges. Mana cost is always 50. Impact damage rescaled. Max HP damage scaled to be better. Okay, so it's a little bit more punishing if you miss, based on the charges, but also the mana cost is decreased, so it's less punishing in that capacity. Slow duration also scales now. So you're more encouraged, I guess, to put levels in it, because the mana cost doesn't go up, and it gets better in multiple ways. Impact damage and slow duration, which is good. Not to mention just, dealing more damage overall. Yeah, this is fine. I was a little bit scared about what they were going to do to Ringmaster. It's a bit of a shame, because I thought the alternative pool for Dark Carnival Barker was actually really fun, but as long as they keep the Unicycle, I'm happy with it. Rubik. Base damage increased, removed his innate. Now he has Curiosity. He gains a stack per level, gives him base damage, buff, debuff duration, a small amount of all that, and +2 area of effect. If he sees an enemy hero cast an ability within a blink dagger range of him, he gains 2 Curiosity. If an enemy that currently provides temporary curiosity dies, he gains 1 curiosity permanently. Okay. More infinite scaling mechanics, please, Valve. We love them. Yeah, I actually don't like them very much. Telekinesis shard throw distance bonus changed from 35% to a flat 225. Okay, that's probably to prevent it from scaling off of curiosity stacks and throwing heroes to goddamn Timbuktu. Fade Bolt now reduces both spell and attack damage by default. And the damage reduction got rescaled to not be as good because it affects both. Spell Steal no longer grants debuff amp. Stolen spells now have their cooldowns decreased by a little bit. Lot of talent changes, but I don't see anything particularly important, except for at level 20, you can now make Telekinesis Landing deal 325 damage. That's a lot. Includes the person that you throw, and then at level 25, instead of the Kinesis land distance, you can now have double Curiosity bonuses, which is kind of crazy. This is weird. I'm having a hard time doing the math in my head about how many Curiosity stacks you would get, and you get one innately per level, which is nice. In a weird way, it sort of gives him fake int, because it gives you base damage, and then, well, it doesn't give you magic resistance. It really just gives you the base damage. And then other bonuses are nice, too. But I can't do the math in my head about how many you would get. I mean, let's say, like, super late in a game, you've got, like, maybe 10 permanent stacks, and then the 30 innate, and so you can get up to, like, 50, which is a lot. But I don't know. That doesn't seem that crazy impactful. It is, but I'm lying to you. This is weird. I'm going to have to see it in action, but it sounds interesting. It definitely is flavorful. It's a very Rubik-themed innate, so cool. Sand King, Caustic Finale. You know the deal. You know the drill by now. Bro Strike cast range increased by 25, so not much. And then you immediately regain invisibility if Bro Strike ends. And you're untargetable during it, so I guess if you Bro Strike within Sandstorm, you can't be seen ever. Which is interesting. So you can't be like hexed or something like that. Not that that was a thing that was really happening, but I'm sure it happened to some guy. John Sand King, or actually Gabe Newell. that's who it happened to. Gabe got hexed and he was like, fuck. And then immediately sent the word down that they need to change this shit. Alright, fun. Alright. They also gave him the blind talent at level 25 back. He had it taken away from him for a while. Cool. Shadow Demon, Menace Damage Amp changed to scale. Disruption can now target the Spirit Bear. Awesome. I've always wanted to do that. Disseminate Shared Damage rescaled to be worse early but better late. In the lane, it was kind of crazy. So this is a good change, I think. Level 20 talent, the Demonic Purge damage got replaced with Purge cooldown. I think that's a good thing. Plays better with his Aghanim Scepter, if he ever gets it, and his Shard. And then minus 30-second Demonic Purge cooldown at level 25, replaced with it applies Shadow Poison. 1 stack per second over the debuff duration. Okay, good. I was going to say, if it just does 1, that's kind of shit. It might still not be great, to be completely honest. Yeah, whatever. Shadow Fiend. Oof, here we go. Necro Mastery scales up of levels. Base max souls. They brought him back down to Earth. Only 20 for his max souls now. Damage decreased for Shadow Rays by 5 in a way that scales up to be negative 20 damage at level 4. But damage is increased by 3 per Necromastery soul. So wait, it actually is more, I think. Yeah, it's more. Okay, cool. Aghanim Shard now gives you Shadowmire. That's where that comes from. Feast of Souls. That's important. No longer requires 5 souls to cast. Instead, he gains souls from surrounding enemies. He gains souls from 2 enemies in a 600 radius every 0.5 seconds, prioritizing heroes. Each individual enemy can provide souls once. Creeps give 1 soul. Heroes provide 3. Can collect... What? Heroes have 3 souls? Can collect souls from up to 10 enemies at max level. After the effect is over, he loses the souls whose owners are still alive, retaining the rest for 8 seconds. And then some slight tamps down on his movement speed and attack speed, down to 80 and 10, respectively. Oh, wait, no. 80 attack speed, 10 movement speed. Okay, this is much more interesting. This is better. I think having to, spend the souls with Feast of Souls created weird situations where, you didn't want to use it to hit towers, which is weird. This is a much more interesting way to do it. Requiem of Souls can no longer use more than 20 souls per cast. That makes me sad. But Aghanim Scepter no longer has a damage penalty on returning Requiems of Souls. Okay. This is interesting. I think Shadow Fiend is probably still good, to be completely honest. And then the level 15 talent, you can get even more souls collected per hero. But it has a max of 2. I don't know. This is kind of weird. So what, you can get up to 20 additional souls? So you get the double Necromastery bonus? Cool. And then at level 20, the plus 2 damage per soul is replaced with plus 5 max souls. Granted, that doesn't buff Requiem of Souls at all, your ultimate, which is kind of important, but hey. Yeah, Shadow Fiend is like probably still playable, and this Feast of Souls rework sounds good. Nice. I like it. Thank you, Valve. Shadow Shaman. Foul Play, no longer upgraded with Aghanim Shard, adds a chicken illusion per 5 levels, and provides bonus movement speed. Anaconda? What? Wait. New ability from his shard. Valve has never had a good idea when it comes to Shaman Shard, by the way. Throws a jar at a location. Jarati, dealing 275 damage to all enemies in a 225 radius, and creating a massive serpent ward that lasts for 15 seconds. Oh, so it's a 4x. Okay, so it's a grenade that you throw it and a snake pops out. Oh man, I've always wanted to do that. This is silly. This is very, very silly. You can use Refresher now in order to become the Sideline Bandit even better, because now you can summon both your ulti snakes and then double Anaconda, if you would so desire to do so. That's fun. I don't know if it's good, but it's fun. Yeah, this is cool. You can also just use it in fights, you know? It only lasts for 15 seconds, but that's enough. Cooldown 50 seconds. Okay, cool. You have a little mini ult. It kind of reminds me of Alchemist. His shard is you have like well, that's a unit target and only friendly units, but it's kind of like a mini version of your ulti that you can use in a less committal way. I like it. I like Anaconda. Maybe it's the first good idea Valve has had for Shadow Shaman Shard. The foul play changes are also interesting. I've met multiple Shadow Shaman players who would go like blink Yules so that they could wait out the damage immunity and then Yules and then mash blink in order to get like guaranteed quote unquote out of fights and never die. They frequently died anyway. Silencer. Base movement speed increased 300. He's a fast little bugger. And brain drain ability is now a new innate. Suffer in silence. He takes less damage from and deals more damage to silenced targets. If an enemy hero dies near, he steals int. If the victim was silenced, he gets an extra point of int. Okay, interesting. I assume his shard is different now, and it looks like it is. Arcane Curse no longer has the damage and slow multiplier against silenced enemies. The cooldown is still paused, though. Or not the cooldown, the duration. Glaives of Wisdom, mana cost decreased. Slightly, very slightly. And then Glaives of Wisdom increases insteal by 1 and causes Glaives to bounce. Okay, we are inching ever closer and closer to the position 1 silencer that Valve is dreaming about after they take too many Benadryls. Level 25 talents slightly changed. One of them is plus 2 seconds global silence duration. That's weird. I don't think it really matters. If you dispel global, it doesn't do anything. But I guess the other option is Glaives of Wisdom damage, and if you're not right-clicking, you may as well. Mess with the supports who already burned their Yules, I guess. Yeah. Cool. Skywrath Mage. Removed Ruin and Restoration innate ability. Skywrath was actually really fun in the previous patch because he just got 40% spell lifesteal. Like, that was fair. Now we have Shield of the Scion. Okay, this was the better one. It was better than Sword of the Scion. Or Staff of the Scion, whatever. Okay, magic damage barrier. It scales off of his levels. Yada, yada, yada. Concussive Shot. Consider Spirit Bearer a hero. Okay, sure. Sardar. Seaborn Sentinel. That's his innate, that he gets bonuses from being in water. It looks pretty much the same. And then the Aghanim Scepter bonus was slightly decreased to compensate for the new scaling. Guardian Sprint, he gets 100% slow resistance for the first 2.5 seconds of Guardian Sprint. Fades to 0. Yeah, okay. Pretty much the same stuff. And then talents kind of mixed around a little bit, but not in any particularly interesting way. Slark. What'd they do? Duration for Essence Shift changed in the same way that it has for a lot of other heroes. This is innate. Saltwater Shiv, which I keep calling Salty Shiv, which I might keep doing because it's faster. It's more efficient. I'm in a rush. Clearly, have you seen the length of this video? Time is clearly something I don't have a lot of. Stacks now have independent durations and don't refresh previous ones. Okay, good. Cooldown increased up to 14 seconds early and then 8 seconds at the very end. Is that duration might be so that you can't stack it early on in the lane anymore. The cast range now gives him plus 50 attack range for it. Mana cost increased as well, but the impacts were... Okay, so it's harder to get stacks, but the stacks mean more now. And you can't have, like, theoretically infinite Saltwater Shiv stacks. This is good. This is good, I think. Yeah, okay. Interesting way to sort of rework nerf it a little bit. And they also slightly nerfed the duration of... Well, no, they didn't. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, Saltwater Shiv reworks. I'd have to see it in action, but it's harder to stack early on, not as good in the lane. Slark's lane was really, really insane with Saltwater Shiv, so this solves that problem. But he still scales pretty good. Snapfire. Finally, justice. Justice for Cookie Grandma. Removed Buckshot as the innate ability. Boom, boom, boom. Buckshot, whole line on massive. Me no give a rasclat. Boomstick. New innate ability passive. Deals more damage the closer she is. Well, that doesn't work very well for her ultimate, now does it? Max damage amp is 35% when they're like literally touching. It looks like the distance scales off of levels though, actually, which is kind of interesting. So like at level 30, it's like what, 200? Which is still quite close. That's just outside of like PL attack range, but hey. Scatter Blast, point blank damage bonus decreased from 50 to 30. Okay, because of Boomstick. Level 15 Shredder attacks increase from +1 to +2. I kind of expected them to nerf Little Shredder. But hey, what can you do? The previous talent she had where it was just one additional Little Shredder attack felt really shitty, so I'm glad that they increased it to 2. Sniper. Keen Scope, that's the thing that gives him attack range, scales off levels. Take Aim now passively grants attack range. Okay, we back. And then active bonus attack range rescaled as well. Okay, so it's not double what the impact was. Now it's just a flat number. But it's more. Oh wait, no, it never scaled off of that. But it's, you know, it's a little bit more still. At higher levels. Assassinate no longer increases attack damage and no longer gives you a crit on top of the magic damage nuke. And then yeah, okay, cool. You can get an additional 50 attack range with your level 10 talent now. Nice. Spectre, base movement speed increased slightly, health regen increased slightly. That makes up for the phylactery nerf with health regen. Desolate damage changed. Okay, so pretty much the same. Shadow Step, cooldown decreased, cast range increased. Illusion damage taken increased at early levels, barely. And then illusion damage taken decreased. Okay, just seems like buffs on Shadow Step. It is, you know, for as fun of an ability as it can be to use, it is a little unwieldy. What I really wanted is right now, if you cast Shadow Step and the target is immune in some way, like their Euls or their Ghost Scepter, to the point where the illusion can't attack them, the illusion wouldn't go to where they are. It would just sit there. Like, so it wouldn't even chase them. And you couldn't use that to get close. It's kind of like how if creeps are disarmed, they won't aggro to you. Is that still a thing? It is like that. So you would spawn the illusion, it would just sit in front of you because they're ghost sceptered and the illusion's looking at you like, what do you want me to do? Hey, boss. I can't hit him. Haunt cooldown decreased at early levels. Duration rescaled to 6 seconds flat. Illusion damage decreased by a little bit at later levels. Okay. Some slight nerfs to Spectre, but I think maybe the Shadow Step buffs are enough to help a little bit. It winds up being pretty much the same. Just with a slight tamp down on the cooldown and illusion damage taken. So, which is relevant. You know, it's still vulnerable to like hexes and things like that. Spectre's fine. Spectre's in an okay place. Spirit Breaker, removed herd mentality. Oh, I miss it. I always thought it was fun. Very teamwork, very PMA. Empowering Haste is now his innate. He gains bonus movement speed whenever he stuns an enemy. Okay. The effects can stack and have independent durations. Yeah. Alright. Charge Darkness, no longer upgraded with Aghanim Shard. Now that's on Greater Bash. Increases knockback by roughly 30%. Val, what the fuck do you mean roughly 30%? If a knocked back enemy collides with another enemy, the second enemy is also bashed, and the original target takes 25% of the damage. Again, the effect is applied to Charge of Darkness and Nether Strike as well. Wait, so okay, so when you do Charge of Darkness and you strike the enemy team, now it's like actually they bump into each other like a game of pool. That's funny. That's actually really funny. Bodies of killed units keep flying and pushing enemies. This is so stupid. I like it. Planar Pocket, still in the game. A fucking cockroach, dude. This ability. No one likes it, though. It's been years. It's a shard now. Cooldown increased to 30 seconds. Self-magic damage. Wait, they nerfed it? Effect now ends if Spirit Breaker is more than 900 units away from the target and can be cast without canceling charge. So you can kind of... Wait, so being able to cast it while charging kind of means you can get down Mr. President, your carry. But it's kind of crazy to me that they nerfed it. Like, Was someone using it? Who? Who was it? Who got Planar Pocket nerfed, dude? Some random guy in Peru who figured it out, and Valve was like, we gotta stop him. This is the Jason Bourne of playing Barathrum. Not a whole lot of interesting stuff with talents. Storm Spirit, leveling up Ball Lightning, no longer... Oh, wait. Spirit Breaker doesn't have the... you can't keep the movement after charge anymore, huh? Maybe for the best. Storm Spirit, Galvanized Ball Lightning, no longer gives you 3 Galvanized charges when you level it up. Remnants now spawn at his location and move at 300 speed to the target location. Cool. That's a good thing. I like that they did that. Storm Spirit's kit is like sort of, in a design way, like fragile. Like messing with it doesn't feel right. But when they gave him the ability to make the static remnant move, it kind of created a level of parity with the other spirits and the way that their remnants work. Then I think it was really good for him. So this is kind of a notable nerf. What I really wanted was a nerf to his shard or the bouncing overload stuff or his axe, and none of those things happened. So I guess they're cool with Storm Spirit just getting a rampage with 3 buttons in the late game. But oh well. Sven. Base strength increased. He needs some help. Remove Vanquisher. Now he's got Wrath of God. What? Oh, this is his innate. Increases... Oh, because God's strength is his ulti. I was mixing them up. Increases attack damage. Sven gains per point of strength by a weird amount. Disabled by break. Alright. Aghanim Shard reworked for Warcry. Makes it indispellable and increases radius. Provides a 300 physical damage barrier and an additional plus 3% movement speed bonus when active. So you don't get the passive bonus armor for you and your crew anymore. Big win for Drow, I guess. Making it undispellable is good. And then a physical damage barrier is meaningful. Sure, whatever. Basically gives him his other facet. Warplate, I think it was called? Yeah, cool. Vanquisher's gone, so the talent's gone. You can get some free slow resistance off of God Strength at level 10, and then at level 20, the same talent is replaced with Stormhammer cooldown and mana cost. Cool. So at level 20, you can pick up an Aghanim Scepter and you can fly around like Superman. Techies, okay. I was warned about this. His new innate ability called MAD increases mana regen by a portion of Techies' max mana. When Techies die, they leave behind a barrel that explodes after 1.5 seconds, dealing damage equal to 50 plus 30% of their max mana. Okay, Martyrdom Pro again? We already had it with Jen. Why are they adding so many things from Modern Warfare 2 in this patch? With Shard, it increases mana to damage by 10%, so up to 40% of their max mana, which Techies is a universal hero, but very intelligent. Adds an active component where they can detonate it, or they can put it down while they're alive. It is invisible and can be destroyed before the detonation process begins. Detonating the barrel makes it visible and immortal. Then it explodes after a 1.5 second delay. Only one MAD can exist via the active cast at one time. Barrel is planted with a 1 second channel. Okay, so you have like a super bomb that you can put down. 40% of max mana. I mean, Techies likes buying int items and kind of playing like an int hero, even though they are no longer an int hero. This is interesting. I don't know. This is another one where I have to see it in action, but I know that if I'm a Techies player, I'm salivating at the mouth because this sounds hilarious. Like, this sounds really funny. The cooldown is only 30 seconds. Shit, you can use this to like farm if you really want. And then it's a bit like Shadow Fiend in the sense that like if you're dying, you can scramble to put it down, and then do you get 2? Maybe you don't, because it says you can only have 1, but I don't know if that counts. Okay, only 1 MAD can exist via the active cast at one time. And if you can detonate it while you're dead, you throw this down in a scramble while you're dying, and then you have 2 MADs pop on top of each other, and it's 80% of your max mana, which is quite good. And it's magical damage, so maybe you have their magic resistance decreased by your red mines as well. Okay. Reactive Taser can now be cast on allies. Cast range increased. Shard taken away, because now the shard is on the MAD, or the Mad Bomb. What is MAD supposed to be? Mom and Dad. Mom and Dad. Reactive Taser. Cast on allies, all that stuff. Blast Off now deals self-damage before damaging enemies. Okay, so if you explode yourself with it too bad, you won't get the XP. I don't think you can die from casting Blast Off, though. Techies are now rooted and disarmed instead of self-stunned during the leap animation. Does that matter? I guess because you can get stunned out of it now? Proximity Mines, damage source changed, matters for stuff like Bristle. Minefield Sign now only available with Aghanim Scepter. Okay. So you don't have it as like a fun little innate anymore to play mind games with. That's fine. Yeah, buddy, level 25 talent damage increased to 253. Valve, you guys are freaking trolls, dude. This is so funny. It used to be 250, then it was 251. We're slowly creeping up. It's good. I hope it hits 254 one day. That would be swag. I love how this is also kind of weirdly enough, like it's always been this. Like since talents came out, it's always been just like fuck you damage for techies. So seeing it slowly creep up and continuing to creep up is very funny. Yeah, nice. Good to see the tradition continue. It's been a while since we've had this. So TA. Oh, talked about our innate because Oracle has it now. Base health regen decrease from 1 to 0. Remove third eye innate. After remaining stationary for 0.25 seconds, TA begins meditating. What? Bonus health regen and mana regen. Bonuses linearly increase from 0 up to their maximum, which is reached after 2 seconds with reduction based on level. Moving from the current position or taking damage resets regen bonuses. Max health regen is 2.7. Max mana regen, or plus 0.03. Max mana regen is 2.2 plus 0.02. 0.2. 2.2 plus 0.2. Yeah. Okay, so you sit still and you get... This actually sounds funny. Because sometimes you will just do this. Like, you will just, like, sit there and meld for a couple seconds hoping someone walks up. That's really funny. The fact that you can begin meditating after standing still for a quarter of a second is really funny. Also, I assume you can't be... You know, obviously moving cancels it. I assume, like, right-clicking cancels it, too. This is actually kind of funny. In a weird way, you're encouraged to just, like, sit there and, like, do nothing sometimes in lane. This actually sounds, like, not fun, but very funny. So I like Inner Peace. I wonder if it has an animation or, like, a particle effect or something. Refraction has Shard now. Increases bonus damage by 30 and allows it to be cast while disabled. Cool. Wasn't that a 25 talent? Maybe not. Oh, no, it was a 15 talent. Okay. Meld. Now, if the attack that broke Meld splits with Psyblades, it's now applied to all affected enemies. Okay, so that's the passive that they went with. Psionic Trap, no longer upgraded with Shard. With Scepter, the traps now also silence enemies for 0.25. So this is Psionic Projection. This is the thing that allows her to teleport to the traps around the map. Very difficult to use. Hasn't been meta ever since they added it to the game and it was overtuned. Now, you know, silencing is cool. I think just being able to silence people with traps is solid. So that might be the reason you pick it up. And then the transportation aspect is really just a nice little cherry on the ice cream sundae. Yeah, meditation is funny. It's nice to see that come. I like how we saw Mad and then Inner Peace are the 2 innates that we've seen. Terrorblade. Base armor increased. This guy needed help. Illusion damage increased. Nice. Cooldown decreased on Demon Zeal. Duration decreased as well. Okay, but that is still more uptime overall. Number 1 Demon Zeal enjoyer with his big fat foam finger is having a hell of a time reading these patch notes. Oh, that's funny. At level 15, he can get a minus 25% Sunder minimum HP swap. So does that mean you can literally get people on 1 HP? You can do like the Dagon bullshit all by yourself now? That's cool. Tidehunter. Removed Blubber as an innate. Okay, it's back on Kraken Shell. This is the first thing I needed to see. That feature is a little bit too iconic to remove out of Tidehunter at this point. Strength gain increased by 0.1 to 3.7. He now has Leviathan's Catch. This is innate. Whenever a hero dies while affected by a Tidehunter debuff, they drop a fish. Tidehunter eats the fish to grow in size. Yeah. And permanently gain 3 max health, 2 attack range, and 1 bonus damage block. He automatically eats a fish on every level up. Okay. Bonus damage block is only applied if there is a source of damage block being applied to an incoming physical attack. That doesn't sound like a patch note so much as it is just sort of a factual observation of the universe. Maybe there's something I'm missing there. The fish flies 400 units towards Tidehunter upon spawning, stays in the world indefinitely, and can be destroyed by an attack. No! You can kill the fish. You can destroy it before Tide gets to eat it. That's really funny. Picking Gyrocopter as Tide so that you can use Flat Cannon in order to continue attacking the enemy team while using the fish as an attack point. Picking Snapfire and mashing Little Shredder when Tide gets a kill so you can deny the fish. You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of like in TF2, you could eat a heavy sandwich if they like dropped it for the medic to eat. You could just like swoop in and be like, "Don't mind me, fellas," and like snatch the sando and run away afterwards. This is usually a scout or a spy, I guess. Kind of reminds me of that, dude. You can eat the Tide sando, a sandwich. Anchor Smash changed to scale off of Tidehunter's attack range. It's the same because his attack range is 150. Kraken Shell, I think the Blubber was at 400, but now at level 4 Kraken Shell does it at 450, so it's a slight nerf within 7 seconds. Blubber effect triggers Anchor Smash, replaced with Kraken Shell Cleanse triggers Anchor Smash. Oh, they just changed the wording. It's the same thing. Okay. Timothy Bursaw. Exposure therapy no longer levels with Chakram. It's the same. They didn't change him at all. Interesting. I think Timbersaw could use a love tap or two, but, you know, I'm fine with him being bad. Tinker. Remove defense matrix. Hell yeah. Fuck you. Laser Aghanim. Oh, what is this? Oh. Laser Scepter no longer adds bounces. Good. March of the Machine. Robot supply and non-stacking heal over time. That's the Scepter? They changed Nano Machine's son, or whatever it was called, the heal bots, to his Scepter. Okay. Weird. Seems kind of bad. Deploy turrets, new ability that replaces defense matrix. After a 0.5 second delay, airdrops a group of 3 uncontrollable turrets at the target 250 radius area. They deal magical damage, destroying. Oh no, the drop deals magical damage, destroys trees and pushes away enemies, and tinker by 350. So you can use it defensively. Y'all ever play PUBG and you would like get hit by the airdrop on purpose because it was funny? I've done that before. Turrets seek enemy heroes within 800 range at max level and shoot missiles in their direction every 1.5 seconds. They deal magical damage, and 50% of that damage goes to other enemies within 200 AoE. 80 magical damage each time I hit. What's the attack speed? Oh, every 1.5 seconds. But there's 3 of them, right? Each turret has 160 health and exists for 4.5 seconds. Each of the 3 turrets activates with a small delay after the previous one. Huh. Missiles fly in a forward direction and can be dodged by moving out of the way. Wait, so there's skill shots? The AI turrets do skill shots? They target heroes only, but missiles can hit creeps on their way. Turrets prioritize the same hero until they are out of reach. Splash damage is not dealt to the hit unit itself. They have a small golden XP bounty. This is weird. I don't like... And then there's a scepter to make them activate faster, make the missiles faster, and there's an additional volley of missiles. Did they give turret Drow multi-shot? They gave Drow multi-shot to Tinker, dude? What? Will they not fire on creeps at all? Can you not use it as a farming item? I mean, you wouldn't want to, because you have March of the Machines and farming ability. Rearm, cooldown decreased. Okay. Who cares? Warp Flare, teleport distance now depends on Warp Flare cast range. Okay, same as the other knockback things. And then some talents. Plus 100 deploy turrets, tinker knockback. That's so funny. So you can drop them on yourself to like force you away. Kind of like Sniper Shard, I guess. And then you have some talents for them. Minus 0.25 seconds time to rearm at level 25 is kind of a big deal. But it is a level 25 talent, so it's allowed to be a little busted. And you're giving up 40 int, which matters. Tiny, removed craggy exterior. Now he's got insurmountable. I think that was his talent. Did they get rid of the toss bullshit? Yeah. So his slow resistance applies to attack speed slows, and he gains slow resistance equal to 20% of strength and status resistance for 10% of his strength. Okay. Avalanche mana cost increased, damage decreased. Okay, Valve is tired of Tiny's bullshit, and I am too, frankly. He no longer has the toss bonuses, I think. Oh, wait, no, it scales with Grow. Huh. Okay. Oh, but you need Shard. You need Shard to do the bullshit toss stuff. Okay, that's cool. 45 attack speed slow to all units in the AoE of Toss, Tree Throw, and Tree Volley. Huh. Okay. Yeah, it just seems like they took away a little bit of the bullshit from Tiny and nerfed him in a more general way. And then he no longer has permanent tree with Tree Grab. Now it's the toss bullshit with Grow. Okay. Well, Carry Tiny was already dead, but now he's really freaking dead. Tree and Protector. God bless T-Governor. Let's hope he got nerfed and our boy Troll got buffed next. Nature's Guys, cooldown adjusted, living armor. It's the cooldown scaling with levels, you know how it is. Living armor, mana cost increased, max damage block decreased, damage block decrease improved. Okay. Yeah. This is probably for the best. Living Armor at early levels, being able to block 120 damage, even at level 1, was kind of insane. It made going for ganks, like, because that's oftentimes the difference in early level ganks, because that applied to instances of magical damage as well. I think. I'm pretty sure. So, like, Avenge Stun, you know, if you have Infused Raindrops and you have Living Armor on you, you get stunned by Venge, and that shit does no damage. Like, it does nothing to you. It stuns you, but, like, the damage isn't there, and the damage is important. So, yeah, I think rescaling it down to be 60 at maximum damage at level 1, and then having it decrease by 20 each time is a lot more fair. Like, what they did is the block decrease got buffed, but the max damage block got decreased, which is fair. Yeah, cool. Eyes in the Forest, charge restart. Wow! Max charges decreased from 3 to 2. Duration increased by a minute, but the restore time went from 55 seconds to 135 seconds. It needed a nerf. This is good. Troll Warlord better have gotten some love, please. Battle Stance, he gains 1 armor per 30 bonus attack speed. Okay, that's kind of weird, but sure. It's a way of implementing his previous facet into the game as a default. Berserker's Rage no longer provides plus 3, 4, 5, 6 bonus armor while in melee. Wait, what? This is cheeks. How could they do this? How could they do this to my boy? Allies receive battle. Oh, that's how they could do it. Okay. So this is actually like ass. I'm gonna keep it a buck. Gaining an armor per 30 bonus attack speed is like okay. The thing is, it's only bonus attack speed. It's not base attack speed. So your agi gain doesn't really count. So you only get it when you have fervor, and I assume that there's no linger. So Berserker's Rage giving the plus bonus armor was like a way of kind of offsetting the impact if you didn't go that facet, but now you no longer have the uncapped attack speed. Man. I don't, like, this is bad. What they needed to do was, like, make Fervor better. Like, increase the number of Fervor stacks if you wanted to do it in a conservative way, or buff the amount of attack speed that each one gave you. This is not, if they wanted to buff Troll Warlord, this was not the way to do it. The hero is probably going to remain unplayable this patch as well, which makes me sad. He's one of my favorite heroes to play. There's a reason the very first video on this channel was Troll. I like him a lot. Oh well. Yeah, I don't expect him to be playable. This is pretty bad. This is pretty bad. Even with the level 20 talent where you give allies the battle trance attack speed, it's like only the base value. It's none of the things from Fervor. And one of the things that their ulti does is it increases your maximum Fervor stacks, or maybe it doesn't anymore, to be honest, because that might have been tied to the facet. Yeah, I think it was tied to the facet, so they don't even get that. Like, this is bad. Boo. Buff my boy. Buff my boy Troll. Dusk. What'd they do with the Dusk? Bitter Chill, now only affects enemy heroes. Cool, so Tusk will no longer push the shit out of the lane on accident. Tag Team is now a basic ability. He no longer has Drinking Buddies. Oh, he does, but it's granted by Aghanim Shard, and it looks like the same thing, so you can still grief with it. Ice Shard's no longer upgraded with Aghanim Shard. Okay, fine. Yeah, whatever. Ice Shards now affects enemies trapped inside at level 25 with the talent. I mean, you're still going to go the percentage-based Walrus Punch, right? Because gambling is fun. But dealing 110 DPS, I assume magical, to enemies trapped inside the Ice Shards is kind of a big deal, and then Ice Shards slowing by 50% matters too. Underlord, we're approaching the end. There's remarkably more page left than I thought. I'm getting nervous. Underlord, no longer levels with Fiend's Gate. This is his innate invading force. Damage reduction rescaled as well, as you know the stuff. Firestorm, wave damage increased. The flat amount of damage, and then it has the percentage on top of it. This matters a lot, because 15 additional damage over the course of 6 is 90 more damage at level 4, which is a lot. Atrophy Aura, damage reduction increased as well, by 2% in all levels. Okay, Underlord buffs, cool. I don't mind him being a little bit better. I thought he was a little bit dumpy in the previous patch. Yeah. Unless Tidehunter turns out to be sneak broken again, like he was at the start of 7.40, Underlord might become my new default. I'm offlane and I don't know who to pick. Underlord. It's mostly been Tidehunter and Centaur lately. I do like offlane. I like playing it. I'm just bad. So I like playing heroes that are like very brain dead easy and can lose the lane, and it's fine. Underlord is one of those heroes. He just wants to grow. Yeah, fun little Underlord buffs. Nice. Undying. Base health regeneration increased by 0.5 up to 0.25. Base agi increased, base armor decreased. Alright. Flesh Golem now spawns the current level of Tombstone Zombie. Did it not before? What did it do before? Did it spawn base levels? Okay, sure, whatever. Venge. Base movement speed increased. Retribution now also makes, this is her innate. Oh, her bat improved. Is she just melee now? To gain benefits of both melee and ranged attacks. Okay, so now she just is a melee hero forever now. Okay, cool. Except for when it would be beneficial to be ranged for things like attacks like Dragonlance and whatnot. Killer's icon is shown as a buff on Vengeful Spirit to know who to hate. That's funny. There aren't a lot of funny patch. Well, I guess there's been a couple. We saw the Techie's 253 damage, which is nice. Vengeance Aura now also provides 1.2 times the bonus for Vengeful Spirit herself. Oh, Ags changes. No longer refreshes ability cooldowns. Increases self bonuses up to 1.3 times. Fully affected by Vengeance Aura's bonus, and damage taken decreased down to normal. Okay, so she lost the refresher, but a lot of the other penalties don't exist, and now she also gets the bonus self bonuses from Vengeance Aura. Okay, cool. Yeah, nice. And you know who to hate, and that's important. Venom. Remove Septic Shock as an innate ability. That was the thing that gave him bonus damage based on his base damage relative to how many debuffs they were affected by. Poison Sting is now his innate. Okay. Oh, he has a new ability. Venomous Gale, Shard upgrade reworked. Okay, that will be the thing that creates the Plague Wards. That's the facet that he got. Increases the cast range and projectile speed too. New basic ability, he summons a spawn of Aktok to sink its fangs into an enemy. Deals 100 magic damage at max level, applying a deadly toxin, which deals DPS. So it's a nuke and then a damage over time effect. When the target attacks, they take the initial magic damage again. Whoa! That's kind of crazy. That's kind of pretty good. Like, I feel like that's good. It's a troll counter, I'll tell you that much. Troll's an ulti wailing on your Abaddon and ulti, and you throw a snakebite on him, and he just kind of kills himself. That's interesting. This sounds very good. Sounds very good. Noxious Plague. Ability reworked. Can you still get them Void Breakers? No longer has the AoE effect, only affects the host. Plague spreads. It also carries all the debuffs placed by Venomancer. Wait, so you can like Spirit Vessel them. Hey, yo. Yeah, you can like Spirit Vessel them and it'll spread that debuff. That's crazy. Dude. You can also you have Medallion of Courage now. you can spread the Medallion of Courage debuff to everyone. That's funny. The initial damage is now non-lethal, duration decreased, mana cost decreased. It is a whole new ability, basically. Now spreads a second time. Well, not a whole new ability. First one spreads after the first one deal no additional damage. Spread radius decreased. Max HP is damage decreased. Okay, fine. And then with Aghanim Scepter, it decreases the cooldown by 35 seconds and reduces magic resistance by affected units by 20% and allows additional spreads to deal initial damage. Okay. This is kind of cool. This is actually really cool. You can do some like really funny stuff with this, I think, because there's a couple different debuffs you can apply. What if okay, hear me out. Hear me out. Abyssal Blade, and you blink in, and you Noxious Plague, and right before it's about to burst, you Abyssal Blade the guy who got pregnant, and now everyone on the team gets stunned, and it pierces BKB. Dude, don't let me in the kitchen. Don't let me in the kitchen, dude. I'm cooking hard as hell. Orchid, like, you can do all sorts of really funny stuff, but Abyssal Blade Venom might be a thing. Oh my god, that's so funny. It turns it into like the like a Warlock ulti, because it's not a very long stun, but it pierces BKB, and I think it does damage. That's so funny. Level 25 makes Snakebite undispellable. How does it go away? 6 seconds. You just have to wait it out? I was hoping you could like hit it off of you or something. I guess not. Sheesh. Snakebite sounds brutal to deal with for like a lot of carries. It doesn't pierce BKB, does it? It better not. Yeah, this is funny. And you have talents to make it even better. You can make it undispellable at 25. Okay, so it is dispellable. And then plus 40% snakebite damage that applies to both the damage over time and the initial damage. Dude, Venom is funny. This is a very funny rework for Venomancer, dude. Abyssal Blade Venom. Someone make it happen, dude. Because if you don't, I will. I've done Abyssal Blade Lena. I've done Abyssal Blade Wind Ranger. Buying Abyssal Blade on range heroes is like my shit. I've done it on Dusa. I've done it on Gyro. I've done it on a lot of different heroes. Venom would be a new one, though. Viper. Agility gain increased slightly. Base attack speed decreased slightly. That's fine. A little bit of buff to Predator. Used to be Nether Toxin back in the day. That used to be the thing, part of why you would recommend Viper to new players is because it's easier to last hit, because he deals additional damage based on how much they're missing. And obviously, for lasting your creep, it's probably missing some HP. Corrosive Skin. Aghanim Scepter now also gradually increases Corrosive Skin's magic resistance and damage per second while he is in Nether Toxin. Yeah, wasn't this... I guess his axe worked differently. Okay, yeah, cool. Only up to 50% though, and after 4 seconds. That's a little bit difficult. And none of his talents seem particularly interesting. Okay. Visage, remove Lurker. Now he has Silent as the Grave as his innate. Does he go Invis? Okay. Yeah, you still need the Aghanim Scepter to do Invis. But you gain the movement speed and flying until you attack or cast. And then you get a small damage buff, 10%. Okay, cool. Yeah, so Visage is like a little bit more of a assassin-type character than he already was before. The babies are fine. A little bit more HP. At later levels, easier to kill early. Kill the babies! Kill the babies! Yeah. Void Spirit. Base damage decreased by 4, but it's okay because innate ability changes. Intrinsic Edge increases his attack damage per point of attribute. Okay, cool. By 15%. Nice. This is cool. And a slight buff to the secondary bonuses as well. Damage at level 30 increased. Okay, good. Void Spirit needed a little bit more damage. Not a lot, but a little bit more. And I think the Spirit Vessel build might not be nearly as valid anymore either. Aether Remnant Shard no longer reveals wards with the True Sight, but it'll still catch heroes, and Resonant Pulse Barrier amount increased by a significant amount, actually, a very significant amount. You know, you hit 3 heroes, you now get 90 more HP, effectively. And at early levels, it matters a lot, too, because it went from 35. Like, in the lane, you would get the small bonus of 35, and now it's up to 50. That's good. Good for Void Spirit. Warlock, Eldritch Summoning. This is his innate. Just a bunch of rescaling. That's it. Aghanim Shard now increases the health of the minor imps by 80 and explosion damage by 45. Cool. It no longer just makes them more powerful without telling you the numbers. What the hell? Same values as before, but explicitly stated now. Thank you, Valve. Thank you. I used to complain so much because the shard used to just say, makes them stronger, but didn't tell you how, and it was stupid. You stupid. Weaver. Removed Rewoven innate ability. Threads of Fate now. After dealing damage to an enemy hero with an attacker ability, establishes a Thread of Fate. He has to be within 700 range. Briefly slows and ties them to Weaver. Each established Thread of Fate grants 10% bonus damage against the target or just in general. Threads last up to 6 seconds and break if the distance is longer than 900. If the enemy dies with Thread of Fate established, the Thread's bonuses linger for an additional 5 seconds. Wait, does this apply to every right-click? That's kind of crazy, actually. That seems really good. His old innate, if you didn't know, is whenever you cast an ability, you would get a 50% extension on your attack range. And the stacks were independent, so you could like do all your spells and then basically get a free Dragonlance worth. Maybe not use your ulti, but you get the idea. Yeah, this is kind of crazy. So you're encouraged to stay within that like middle range, kind of the way that Razor is against melee heroes, where you want to be close, but not close enough that they can hit you. 700 is fairly generous though, and it's 10% damage. It's just a 10% damage buff. If this applies to every, so like you Shikuchi in Geminate attack, that's 3. That's a 30% damage buff. And then, you know, another, whoa. This seems insane. And you slow their movement speed by 100% for 0.2 seconds, which isn't a huge amount, but it means something. Is this not broken? This seems insane to me, bro. I need to try out Weaver. This is crazy. Wow. Yeah. And like no compensatory nerfs. Weaver might surprise, be like the hero I want to try most now. Threads of Fate sounds insanity. Okay. Okay. I wonder if you can alt right click it to show you the radius live as you play. Wind Rangers, removed Easy Breezy. That was the thing that capped, or rather gave a floor to her movement speed, so she couldn't be slowed below, I think, like 200 or something. Base movement speed decreased slightly. Tailwind is now an innate. Using an ability conjures a stacking Tailwind that gives Wind Ranger a brief burst of movement speed. Movement speed bonus starts gradually fading halfway through Tailwind's duration. Movement speed bonus per stack, 35%. Huh. Okay, so using abilities just gives you a burst of movement speed, and also buffs her max movement up to 600. Upgraded with Aghanim Scepter, attacks also grant Tailwind effect. Okay, so it doesn't affect Windrun anymore, thank God. One of the ideas for a video I had was the most unfair shit in Dota, and in my opinion, the most unfair thing in the game was Wind Ranger with Axe. She gets to attack you while moving, while invisible. That breaks a metric shitload of rules right there. And then on top of that, she has 100% evasion, and even if you can hit her, it doesn't matter, because she still has 65% damage reduction from physical. Profoundly unfair. Glad they took it out of the game. Now I'll do a most unfair abilities in history, where that will be front and center. Okay. Yeah, Undispellable with Aghanim Scepter and attacks granting it basically just makes you permanently hasted. Kind of crazy. Movement speed bonus for Windrun decreased, cooldown decreased as well. Yeah. And her execute is now a level 25 thing. Execute threshold ranges from 10 to 15% max HP based on channel time and reduces with each unit the arrow comes through. Okay, that's weird. The math is fuzzy with this, but they give her execute back at 25. I don't know what the other one is. It's Windrun can't be dispelled, or I think it's just like, I think it's the cooldown reduction on kill, so I think you probably still go that. But interesting to bring it back. I think 25 is too late. But hey. Removed Eldworm Scholar innate ability. Eldworm's Edda. Sung about in an Eldworm's Edda. Winter Wyvern starts the game with the item. Hey, it's like Grigri or Black Grimoire. After 10 minutes, it can be consumed, increasing the current and maximum level of a basic ability by 1. Also increases her int by 25% of its base value at the time of consumption. Level 5 values are automatically calculated by applying 50% of the difference in all values between levels 3 and 4, except for the mana cost. Mana cost is kept the same. That's a weird way to do it, but okay. Yeah, sounds fun. I really liked Eldworm Scholar. It was fun. If you didn't know, whenever you got a Wisdom Rune, it would share some of the XP with everyone who wasn't affected by it, which was nice. And it didn't decrease the amount of XP gained by anyone who was actually affected by it, which is nice. Winter's Curse attack speed damage, or attack speed rescaled. Bonus duration per hero decreased. Yeah. Okay, cool stuff. Cool stuff. A little bit sad to see that innate go. Everything else is mostly the same. Her shard got reworked. Oh, wait, not at all. What am I talking about? Arctic Burn no longer has the 1 debuff per cast restriction. Holy moly. They gave her that element of the axe for free. And the burn duration decreased, so you can reapply it a lot. And the movement slow got decreased, but hey. Okay, and then the Cold Embrace buff after getting out is reworked. So she no longer has the secondary Ice Blast on Cold Embrace, which a lot of people were using to farm on Winter Wyvern, because you could Ice Blast, Cold Embrace, or rather you would Cold Embrace, then time the Ice Blast to be at the same time as the Cold Embrace expiring, and you would usually, I think, clear the creep wave before 35 minutes or so. Someone told me the numbers once. I wasn't paying attention. I was thinking about the 08 Steelers. Witch Doctor. Death Ward attack range increased slightly, and it scales. Paralyzing Cast cooldown, level 15. And the Maldic Burst thing is now a level 20 talent. Okay. Whoa, at level 20... Whoa, at level 25 you can get +6 Paralyzing Cast bounces instead of the Paralyzing Cast cooldown. That's funny. Magical Christmas Land. He is a Christmas elf at this point, this little Witch Doctor hero. Wraith King, is there? Okay, yeah. For some reason I thought there was going to be a stinger. Just a lot of patch notes. Wraith King. Base armor decreased by 1. Vampiric Spirit scales in the way you think it does. Bone Guard is now a basic ability. Yes! Yes! I took care to clap quietly because of the Ringmaster incident earlier. Bone Guard is now basic, and the Skelly's got a move speed buff. Yes! My mini money moguls! Mortal Strike. Okay, now it's the Shard. So, Shard no longer is the... Wait. Mana cost decreased. Okay, so Reincarnation mana cost goes down to 0 at level 18. That's fair. It's kind of a fair way to do it. It's a bit of a shame. When they first added shards to the game in patch 7. Who cares? They had like a couple of poster heroes. And, oh wait, no, I'm thinking of talents. Because his level 25 talent used to be that. And then it became a shard. And then it became, and it was still in the game, but it's just a part of his normal kit, which is kind of funny. Mortal Strike, you can now have both. If you can have both, it's kind of crazy, actually. Wraith King with both is probably really good, actually. This sounds like a really good idea. It sounds like a good idea to pick Wraith King now. Reincarnation, mana cost decreased. Goes down to 0 at level 18, and it spawns... What's funny is it actually doesn't say skeletons, but you know. You know. It now spawns 2, 3, 4 per enemy hero within the slow radius. It's just the skellies. Okay, so they kind of gave him a shard for free, but in a weird roundabout way. Cool. Fine by me. I like Wraith King, and I think he needed a little bit of help, so nice. Zeus. Final hero. Lot of notes. Base strength increased, base damage increased, base movement speed decreased slightly. Static field scales on his level. Arc lightning mana cost rescaled to be a little bit more expensive early, but cheaper later. Base damage increased to compensate. It's now in the 3-digit club at level 1. Nice. Lightning bolt vision and true sight radius increased as well. Cool. Thunder God's Wrath now applies to true sight before the damage and strikes even untargetable and still invisible enemies. I assume that means Smoke of Deceit, so you can no longer hide from Zeus with smoke. Interesting. I assume so. And then Nimbus damage source changed from Nimbus to the caster. Relevant for Bristle. There's a couple that's just like housekeeping changes. Yeah. Okay, cool. And at level 25, instead of the static field damage, you can get 3 heavenly jump charges. That's kind of crazy. It's kind of nuts. And then this level 15 talent is also cool. Instead of the minus 4 second arc lightning cooldown, you can minus 20% the mana cost and cooldown, which is nice. You can also get an Octarine and make it even lower. All right. So, 7.41. Did it totally invalidate the carry tier list that I did before this? Absolutely. But what can you do? Heroes I'm most excited for? Well, real quick, some really interesting items. Not a whole lot of great neutral item neutral changes. A lot of great neutral item changes, but the neutrals themselves or whatever. My brain's a little fried. I've been recording for 4 hours. Cut me some slack, Jack. Interesting choices. Rip in Peace to Ring of Copium. I think Essence Distiller is weird, and I don't fully understand it, but I'd like to see it in action and try to figure it out and let you guys know how it works. Consecrated Wrap sounds fun. The lack of regen on some of these items makes me a little weird. And then we have a new ranged farming item in Specialist Array / Hydra's Breath. I'll have to do some thinking on who really wants those, but yeah, pretty cool things overall. I might do a video going into these and sort of explaining what they are and who to pick them up on, so please look forward to that. I don't plan on taking the same sort of break I did at 7.40. Maybe tomorrow, just to sort of clear my mind and get content ready, but yeah, expect a lot more soon. As far as heroes I'm most excited to try, Weaver is solidly number 1. This shit sounds broken. Venomancer also sounds really fun. Maybe this is some recency bias because they're all early on. The Techies changes are funny. Sark receives some very necessary nerfs. Shadowfiend is probably still good. Ringmaster kept his unicycle, and that's important. Yeah, just fun ones overall. Oracle has a really fun Aghanim Scepter now in Diviner's deck that I look forward to seeing people on the enemy team pick and then deciding if I like it or not. Really great Muerta buffs as well. This is carry bias because these are the heroes I like to play. Mirana as a position 1 might be viable. Meepo is scary. Meepo is very scary now. Medusa in shambles. What can you do? Yeah, fun stuff overall. Marcy seems quite strong as well. Lion is interesting. Lena is also really interesting. Bunch of cool heroes. Lich got sacrificed back. Let's go. This one's for the OGs. Yeah. And Juggernaut is still dog shit. See you in a couple years. So there you go. I'm looking forward to digging into more of the patch. The removal of facets, not a massive surprise. But what can you do? Thank you very much for watching. And peace on planet Earth.